Oh, Darren, Ben, do you remember that first game where we saw Erling Haaland after he'd signed for Man City? He was in a Community Shield. They lost. He was awful, and everybody thought they've signed a dud. Then what happened? Just 90 goals in 2 seasons.
Honestly, I can remember. I think it was at the end as well, where he blasted over from about 2 yards, and everyone was laughing and saying, "Oh my goodness!" I think in that game it was against Liverpool, wasn't it? And everyone thought Darwin Núñez looked better than he did up the other end of the pitch. But I just remember thinking, okay, just give him a bit of time. And wow, that first season, and even last season, he won the Golden Boot. Probably wasn't at his best, but he missed a lot of chances last season. So I think personally, with the amount of games he missed and the chances he missed, he could have replicated last season the same numbers that he did the previous season before.
Yeah, and you're right, he had a chunk out injured as well. Last pre-season game against Chelsea, only a hat-trick, like Haaland.
Good luck.
Yeah, one of them was actually with his right foot, which is a rarity in itself. But listen, the stage is being set here. We've got the FA Cup on a plinth, on a red plinth. We've got the Premier League trophy on a blue plinth, and the neutral Community Shield right in front of the players when they walk out. How seriously, Darren, do you think these players take this? Bearing in mind they met in the FA Cup final and United won against the odds.
Yeah, I think you've still got to. Of course, there's maybe a little bit less because it's the FA Cup and I love that competition, and this is almost like a glorified friendly. But when you're in a competition at Wembley, playing at your national stadium, I mean, it's a fantastic spectacle against Manchester rivals. I think as players, yes, maybe before the game there's a little bit of that, well, it's not that important. The moment you get here, from even before you go in the change rooms, you get changed, you walk out this Wembley onto the pitch, it all changes and it becomes so serious. So I expect it to be 100 miles an hour, maybe a little bit cautious with the tackles because the Premier League season is upon us. But yeah, both of these sides are going to want to win.
Well, the fans are taking it seriously. There's a banner out hanging down from the top tier as the Reds go marching on in the United end, obviously, and their crests on the lower tier. And then for City, there's a big banner away to our right. Champions 4 in a row. I still can't get used to that. Just incredible. 5 in a row. Could they possibly do it?
Of course they could. I mean, and that's the scary thing about it. We always talk about the Bundesliga, we talk about the French league, talking about, well, how can the same team win it every year? When effectively Pep's come here and done exactly that. If Manchester City are winning the league every single season, so I expect them to be one of the favourites. They've lost a few key players, but Pep's ready for that. It happens all the time, and we always question it. We say, well, if they've lost this player, how are they going to recover from that? And they always find a way.
If Arsenal blow it again, is that Arteta out?
Well, listen, it's about Manchester now. Why are we bringing Arsenal into this?
Just had to do it. We've talked about the lineups before. Jim gave us the lineups as well. United are going strong, but City have got some match winners in there as well.
Yeah, they have. I mean, I'm excited to see Oscar Barber. Lots been made of him, but Erling Haaland.
Oscar Bob's had a great pre-season.
He's been incredible.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that Erling Haaland started as sharp as he has in pre-season, I think he could be the match winner. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Big chance for Mason Mount on a big stage as well. Yet to get his United career going, isn't he? But there's a good player in there.
He's a very, very good player. And I think it was a bit harsh for him last season. He had the injuries, couldn't quite get his form. I think you give him a full pre-season, which he's had. You let him start this season. He's shown at Chelsea. You don't play for a club like Chelsea, win the trophies you do, win their player of the season as often as he did, if you're not a good player.
Absolutely right. As the players make their way out and take their place behind those 3 trophies I mentioned earlier, there will be a presentation from the FA CEO, the Chief Executive, Mark Bullingham, is out there, and also representatives from the clubs from days gone by. The Manchester City ambassador, Mike Summersby, who won the old Charity Shield twice with Manchester City in the late 60s, early 70s when they were winning top trophies. Yes, they did exist before the takeover. And Ronnie Johnson, a United legend, a Champions League winner, a title winner. He won the Charity Shield in successive seasons with Manchester United in 1996 and 1997. But some big moments for certain players. Jack Grealish, though, is out. Didn't feel right for this game. It's a shame because I think he was feeling gutted and emotional at not being in the Euros. I think we all want to see his reaction to not being picked for England. Absolutely, because I thought it was harsh that he wasn't in the England squad. I definitely would have taken him because he's something different. But after the injuries he had last season, he was probably looking at this game thinking, right, this is a chance for me to get myself back up there, show everyone that I'm a good player and I'm going to get myself back past Jeremy Doku, who seems to have taken his spot in the team. But little niggles, little injuries there. We don't quite know why he's not here today, but he'd be gutted because, again, he's a good player, he's a top quality player, and we saw it his first season at Manchester City, but it just quite hasn't happened for him the last couple of seasons. Big smile for Harry Maguire, who may feel he's got a point to prove. All knowledge told me that he was fuming not to be in the England squad. And Bruno Fernandes still here for Manchester United, but Casemiro, the captain, in the starting lineup this afternoon. as the handshakes and formalities have been completed, and with fans taking their seat, we await the national anthem here at Wembley. God Save the King. Skelly singing it perfectly, as you would expect. Opening Saturday of the Championship season, not a goalless draw in sight again, as you would expect. Cardiff 0, Sunderland 2, Hull 1, Bristol City 1, Leeds 3, Portsmouth 3 was live and exclusive on Talksport, Middlesbrough 1, Swansea 0, Millwall 2, Watford 3, Oxford 2, Norwich 0, QPR 1, West Brom 3, and Stoke 1, Coventry 0. League 2 games are about to kick off. Keep you updated with the goals as they go in. League 1 at 5:30 will be round the grounds on Talksport. Olympics on Talksport 2 right now, but here on Talksport, City have lost the last 3 Community Shields, so a chance of another trophy for United manager Erik ten Hag. Can he pip Pep again? City United, another Manchester Wembley showdown, live on Talksport with former England striker Darren Bent, alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian, and a very good afternoon to you as the two Mancunian giants pick up where they left off, against each other at Wembley for silverware. And hasn't it all come round quickly? It's less than 4 weeks since the final of the Euros, and that truncated summer break plays a part today with its effect on City's team selection as they embark on their 4th successive Community Shield. So this is a derby with a different feel to that of May, when United defied the league table and the odds, and Erik ten Hag defied the pre-match predictions of an impending dismissal. That tactical masterclass saved his job. The standard set. Can they now be maintained? And maintaining standards, the number one item on the City agenda too. The standards that have brought 4 successive league titles and just 12 defeats in all competitions over the last 2 seasons. Community Shield's seldom been a barometer of their impending fortunes. In fact, it's been quite the opposite. Their 3 successful title defences have all been preceded by defeat in this fixture. But if an August Wembley defeat can sometimes be easy to shrug off, the very nature of this particular rivalry makes this a prize well worth claiming. City line up with Ederson in goal, Luis Diaz, Akanji and Vardiol, debutant O'Reilly and Kovacic, Bob McAtee, who makes his first City start, and Doku with Haaland up front. For United, it's Onana, Dalot, Evans, Maguire and Martinez, Casemiro and Mainu, Ahmad, Mount and Rashford, and Fernandes, with the referee Jared Gillett. Both clubs in their customary colours. City in the light blue, white shorts. Manchester City, red shirts, black shorts. Will kick from left to right. So both sides attacking the end of the ground that houses the opposition support in this first half. Last season brought differing emotions across the Manchester divide. City history achieved to a soundtrack of United frustration before the Wembley revenge that denied the double-double. Now a new season, a fresh start, but the same old intense rivalry renewed with more silverware at stake. And we're underway. United pumping a long ball forward into Manchester City territory. And Vardiol's got plenty of time to run round that, lay it back to his goalkeeper. Edison pumping it forward over halfway. Haaland winning the first aerial challenge against Maguire, who got to the second. Loose ball picked up in the midfield by Bob, and a free kick has been given Manchester United's way, taken quickly after a foul by O'Reilly, and worked out towards the right-hand side for Ahmad. Delighted to say Darren Bent, the former England striker, alongside him. Daz?
Jim, yeah, I'm looking forward to the game today. Both teams playing that 4-3-3. It was really interesting to see where Johnny Evans was going to play, because I thought at centre-half I think he's got more protection there, but we were thinking, was he going to play left back? Was he going to play left side of the back four? I think the fact that he's in next to Maguire, I think helps, because I think the pace of Oscar Bob could have been a problem for Manchester United defensively. And on the flip side as well, I'm looking forward to seeing Diallo up against Vardiol. I mean, he's going to have to run him behind, because Vardiol can run, he's quick, and I expect that to be quite direct from Manchester United. No coming to feet, getting them behind and really trying to cause Manchester City problems.
And Mickey Gray pitchside for us, another former England international as part of the Talksport coverage. Mick, it is Maguire on the right of the centre halves, Evans to his left, and Lissandro at left back.
Yeah, it's interesting that, isn't it, just listening to Benty there, because when these two centre halves played alongside each other last season, it was Johnny Evans who played on the right hand side, Jim, so I'm just wondering if that's something that Erik ten Hag's had a look at. But confident signs so far, they look comfortable on the ball. I think when they get the opportunity to get the ball wide, Manchester United that is, I think they will try and go a lot more direct than what Manchester City will.
0-0 in the Community Shield, coming to the end of the second minute here on Talksport. The ball at the feet of Onana inside the penalty area, rolled out towards Casemiro, who missed the FA Cup final. Harry Maguire's got it now, worked forward towards Kobbie Mainoo, the man that scored the winner in that last Manchester derby here back in May. A generous ovation for him as he works it intelligently out towards the far side. Sandro Martinez has it now. Did have a little brief cameo playing at left back recently in a game for Argentina against Canada in the Copa America. He played the last 15 minutes of that match at left back. It's the only time that he's played at left back in the last 3 years. So very interesting to see how he goes today. But he will play inverted from that position, and in fact comes towards right on the edge of the D to offer himself for a pass out from Onana there. It's worked back instead, and United's goalkeeper has it still 0-0 with 3 goals.
It's really interesting what Manchester United are doing there, because it's almost like Bruno Fernandes is that false 9, but he drops into little pockets, and then Mason Mount goes up tight and he plays the number 9 as well. So it looks like they're going to almost change it. But Rashford, I mean, he's been really dynamic. He's not touched the ball yet, but every single time one of the midfield players from Manchester United gets the ball, he doesn't even look, he just flies in behind. And I think that's an area Manchester United can really hurt Manchester City, because Rico Lewis is a good defender, good player, but one thing you can't mark, Jim, is pace.
And they're looking for that ball now, although Lewis backpedaling was able to control it almost with his chin, really, to get it forward. Bruno Fernandes won the seconds and has it now over on the far touchline. United just squandering possession. It's played for them. Mount was offside. Akanji mops up, goes back for Edison anyway. He could have played on, but Jared Gillett's blown the whistle, and it's a free kick that City will take just outside their own penalty area. That pace was something that was electrifying and used to such good effect in the FA Cup final back in May, where Rashford was making almost those blind runs and just waiting for the ball to be dropped over the top of the City back line. The first goal of the new season in League Two, scored by Colchester's Ben Goodliffe in the first minute of Wimbledon. And they're a goal up. We'll keep you up to date with all of the League Two goals as they go in over the course of the afternoon here on Talksport, where it's 0-0 at Wembley. We played 4 minutes. And the ball is at the feet of Ruben Dias, returning to the Manchester City side today. Calvin Phillips has been playing in that role on the right of the two centre-halves in the pre-season friendlies. Ball worked down towards the City left-hand side, where Doku, right in front of us, 20 yards inside the United half, bring it down on his chest, hope forward through the midfield. Vardiol's lost it. Ahmad sprints after the loose ball, was always overwhelmingly second favourite. And Ruben Dias can find Mateo Kovacic, who will calmly bring the ball forward through the midfield for Manchester City. Goes wide, out towards the right-hand side for Oscar Bob. Bob laying it back towards Akanji, still inside his own half, looking for the long diagonal. Doku waiting for it, backpedals out towards the touchline, controls it on his solar plexus just before the ball went out of play for a throw. And Dallo won it back, trying to release Ahmad, and then the ball just rolled away from him, and it goes out of play for a City throw. Right in front of us on their near touchline, the left. And he goes back for Kovacic, and he will find Dias, and Dias goes to Akanji for City to build again.
It's really different to what City are doing, to what Manchester United are doing, because you've got Doku and you've got Oscar Bob. They're not running in behind, they're almost just keeping their width and staying really, really high and trying to stretch that Manchester United backline, because that's where you get the likes of James McAtee, who are running between Maguire and Diego Dallo. Enrico Lewis dropping on the other side, trying to run in between the fullback and the centre half. So it's really clever what they're trying to do on the flip side than what Manchester United are doing.
0-0 at Wembley in the Community Shield. Those are the thoughts of Darren Bent. Quite a few people reckon that Gillingham may have a good season in League Two. They're a goal up early on at home to Carlisle. Timothy Dieng breaking the deadlock there. Colchester leading at Wimbledon 1-0. 0-0 in the other games in League Two in the very early stages. A thriller between Leeds and Portsmouth earlier in our live commentary game from the Championship. The ball spread wide out towards James McAtee. Back at City after a couple of seasons, impressive seasons on loan at Sheffield United. This is full debut for Manchester City today, wearing 87. Ball played back towards Gvardiol. Mason Mount just caught him after the ball had gone. It's a free kick that Manchester City will take on halfway.
I'm looking forward to seeing Mason Mount this season because I think he had a tough time last season. Maybe a bit harshly criticised considering he had the injuries and didn't really play much. People called him a waste of money, but he's a talented player. He's got great quality as well. And you give him an opportunity, he'll score goals, he'll make things happen. So hopefully he can have an injury-free season.
Yeah, hardly able to feature in the second half of the campaign. Just one start since early November for United. Before today, here's Doku trying to take on Dalot, and he very nearly wriggled past him to get in the penalty area. Dalot stood his ground really well and is able to get it away. City working ball forward through the midfield to Lewis, who then worked it quickly out towards Doku, who missed it. And he goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester United right.
For a disappointing season that Manchester United had last season domestically in the league, I thought Dalot played well. I thought he was probably their best player. I thought he defended 1v1. He didn't shirk his responsibilities. Didn't matter who he was up against. He almost fancied it. And even there, in that situation there, we saw Doku run it in full pelt, got his body and defended really, really well. So, yeah, I think he had a good season last year. He even had a good Euros, really. I know it was brief, but I thought he did okay.
Also in League 2, Bradford leading at MK Dons by a goal to nil through Alex Patterson as Manchester City bring it forward here. And do so quickly with Bob laying it off to his right-hand side. It's held back on. O'Reilly continuing his run towards the edge of the penalty area. United are able to smuggle it clear. And now working wide with Kobbie Mainoo to Bruno Fernandes. Trying to squeeze one through for the run from midfield from Casemiro. Now they take a more direct route over the top. And it's an excellent pass from Maguire to find Rashford, whose first touch took him out towards the far touchline. He then tried to pirouette in possession to beat Lewis. And he kicked it into his trailing foot straight out of play for a throw that will be taken by City. But no surprise really with the game plan here, Darren. 8 minutes gone, plenty of Manchester City possession, and United looking to work quickly on the break.
Exactly that. I mean, Pep would have looked back at the FA Cup final and realised that that ball over the top caused him so many problems. You can have a plan for it, but when you've got players that are as quick as Marcus Rashford, there is no plan. Unless you defend on the edge of your own box, Pep doesn't want to do that. So it was quite clear. It was the right execution from Harry Maguire. Great pass. It's a poor touch from Rashford.
Now Rico Lewis breaking forward at the other end. Out towards the right-hand side for Bob. Very good return ball for Lewis inside the penalty area. Given a little shove, doesn't win a penalty, does get a corner, which is the first of the afternoon. Will be taken on the City right at 0-0.
Yeah, really good run there from Rico Lewis, but good tracking from Marcus Rashford. He didn't ball watch, got his body in there, and he just about got a touch on the ball. I mean, he went down really easy, Rico Lewis. He's never getting a penalty. But good defensive work, doing his defensive responsibilities for Marcus Rashford.
So Haaland, who's yet to really have a kick, stands at the near post. Diaz has made his way forward. Akanji on the edge of the 6-yard box. Played in towards Gvardiol, who was attacking it. And he's headed away for another corner. Did so well from set pieces at the back end of last season. Joško Gvardiol, 5 goals in his last 10 games for Manchester City. And he made a really good, almost uncharted run in towards the near post, but it was cleared from him. And out for another corner, which will be taken on the Manchester City right. It's going to be another left-footed in-swinging delivery. Akanji making his way forward. The ball flies over here. Ruben Diaz attacking it. Knocked away, though, easily by Evans. And Rico Lewis is going to be able to mop up for Manchester City. He's put under pressure by Ahmad. The two ended up tangling, and the referee Jared Gillett finds in Manchester City's favour. It's their ball just inside United territory, 0-0.
He's fortunate there, Rico Lewis, because he tries to be a little bit too clever. I'm not quite sure what he tried to do in terms of getting his body in, but I think Amad Diallo's a little bit unfortunate there, because I don't think he did a lot wrong. Yeah, he put maybe one hand on his shoulder. I'm not sure that's a foul. Actually, then again, I've just looked at it there. He's nearly chokeslammed him to the floor, so I think probably it was the right decision.
I can hear those reversing lights from here. The ball is out towards the left-hand side for Manchester City. MK Dons, which they could reverse the opening 10 minutes. They're favourites to win League 2. They're 2 down at home to Bradford. Sam Sherring has scored the second there. The ball goes to the Manchester City left. Here's Gvardiol. Gvardiol 15 yards inside the Manchester City half. Back inside his own half for Ruben Diaz. Now towards Akanji. Akanji just lets the ball do the work, rolls it forward, then tries to get a little bit of tempo by hitting a brisk pass down towards the corner flag. Doku sprints after it, he can't get that, goes out of play, and it's a goal kick that Onana will take. You with Talksport, and we're still Dons.
Yeah, Man City at the minute, these first 10 minutes of the game. A little bit predictable at the minute. Not a lot of movement. Doku's maybe staying wide, and Oscar Bob on the other side, and Haaland's not really coming off, getting the ball to fit. There's no real runs in behind. So at the minute, for Manchester United, you're quite comfortable because everything's in front of you. It's quite compact. It's only little 5-yard passes. At some point, they're going to have to mix it up a little bit.
Now let's go back pitch side. Mickey Gray.
Well, a few things that have took my eye straight away, Jim, in the game is Casemiro looks as if he's lost about a stone and a half in weight, but he's more disciplined than what I've seen him in the past as well, certainly at the end of last season. And also the two wide players, Marcus Rashford and Diallo, whenever they get the ball wide, Man City, they're tracking back, they're helping their full-backs out.
Now United determined to play out from the back, have conceded a cheap corner. It was Johnny Evans that put the ball over the line. The corner played in, headed away on the edge of the penalty area, mopped up by Gvardiol, goes back for Lewis inside the centre circle. 11 gone here on Talksport at 0-0. Back for Akanji, out towards the Manchester City right-hand side again. And Bob's done well. He's ridden a couple of challenges. Good run ahead of him from McAtee, although he perhaps went a little bit too early. The tall, long-legged O'Reilly just loses out and then wins it back for Manchester City. Does well in midfield there. Finds Kovacic. He's caught the eye pre-season, Nico O'Reilly. Wearing 75 for City, he's 19, making his debut for the first team today, which isn't necessarily a sign that he's going to be a regular. I remember Ben Knight making his Manchester City debut in the Community Shield a few years ago, and I don't know that he's played his second game for the club yet. Ball swept inside the penalty area here, watched well by Dallo, past Onana and out of play. The loose ball goes out for a goal kick. That'll be taken by Manchester United. Colchester 2 up at Wimbledon. Bradford 2 up at the MK Dons. And Gillingham League Carlisle 1-0. Those are the goals in League 2. We haven't had any in the Community Shield in the North London sunshine.
I'll tell you what, Oscar Bob looks so sharp. He get the ball there, he went past Rashford like he wasn't even there. And he's probably the one player so far in this first half that every time he's gotten the ball, he's tried to make things happen. I mean, he goes past Rashford, goes past the fullback there, he looks for a little pass, but Haaland doesn't really move, and then he ends up playing a square pass. But it looks like so far, the start of this game, he has looked really, really sharp, really impressive. He had a really good pre-season.
And now Manchester United with a goal kick. And Onana let Maguire take it. And he wanted it knocked square across the edge of the 6-yard box. And Maguire showed a real reluctance to play that. And there was quite an animated discussion between the pair of them before the goal kick was actually taken. And eventually, when it found Onana, United get it forward out towards the left-hand touchline and win a throw. So they made some ground over on the far touchline, a throw that will be taken by Lisandro Martinez. Still 0-0 here on Talksport, and along with Talksport 2, we'll once again be the home of the EFL. More live action than ever before over the course of this coming season. I'll give you some details in a moment. There's just been a collision there involving Haaland, which has left Harry Maguire on the deck. Mickey, you probably had a better view of that than us.
Yes, I certainly did, Jim. It was just early. There was nothing in it, to be honest with you. Erling Haaland was just going to try and make a run in behind, and Harry Maguire was trying to read the situation. It was a coming together, and Maguire, Manchester United centre-half, just took the brunt of the challenge more so than Erling Haaland.
Yeah, he tried to block him, did he? Tried to block Haaland from pressing the goalkeeper, Onana, and he comes off worse off Harry Maguire. I mean, it's been a former centre-forward. That used to be so annoying. Going back to the goalkeeper, trying to press him, defender stops across you. I mean, as I said, that Maguire's limping, so he's probably come off worse. Two big boys, though. Haaland and Maguire, wow.
They're both back on their feet. Haaland looks unmoved. Maguire struggling to move. Just making his way away from the edge of his own penalty area now, a little bit gingerly. And play resumes with Onana punting the ball forward out towards Marcus Rashford, but over his head, and it goes out of play for a Manchester City throw. Talking about EFL action, tomorrow we're going to bring you Wayne Rooney's first match in charge of Plymouth. They travel to Sheffield Wednesday. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff here on Talksport. And I'm sure you're aware the last 4 championship champions have been sides who've just come down. Relegated pair Luton and Burnley hope that continues. They start their championship campaign Monday night at 8, and that's over on Talksport 2. Don't forget you can listen to Talksport 2 on DAB via the app, or just ask your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. Then coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, Carabao Cup action. Adrian brings you all the goals as they go in with kick-off on Tuesday here on Talksport. Our live game, Sheffield United Wrexham over on 2. Then on Wednesday, Leeds on the back of that 3-3 draw today at home to Middlesbrough. Started their campaign with a victory yesterday. And that's an 8 o'clock kick-off, Ellen Road, Wednesday night here on Talksport. Here and now, Manchester United are in possession in the midfield with Kobbie Mainoo. And he's played it back for Harry Maguire. Maguire looks okay after that collision with Haaland and switches the play from the centre circle out towards the Manchester United left. Fernandes to Evans. Casemiro just dropping deep and splitting the two centre halves. And Maguire goes back for Evans again, and Evans forced to go further back after good pressure from Bob. And he'll lay it towards the edge of the deep, where Onana then drives a long ball for Bruno Fernandes, chasing after that. Akanji able to backpedal, heads the ball away for Kovacic. Kovacic off balance, but still able to squeeze the ball through to the bearded Croatian Vardiol. Vardiol towards Doku, whose quick feet were too good for Dalot, who's fouled him. And it's a free kick on halfway to City.
It's been a really good battle that so far. In this first 15 minutes, those two. Doku, every time he gets the ball, looks at Dalot, tries to get past him, and Dalot's like, we'll bring it on. And yeah, Doku drops the shoulder and cuts inside, and it's a clear foul. But I think both teams are probably about a yard off it in terms of their intensity, their play. Just a little bit laboured, a little bit one-paced at the minute, but you'd expect that. It's almost like a pre-season game, an extension of pre-season. It's just at Wembley.
Jeremy Doku in possession again for Manchester City. Oh, that was a brilliant turn. Just got away from Dalot. He's already 10 yards behind him. Now he's in the penalty area. Faced up by Maguire. Goes towards the byline. Sends it back just over the head of O'Reilly. City are able to mop up over on the far touchline with Oscar Bob. But that was the first real piece of dynamic play we've seen from either side, and it was Jeremy Doku who provided it. City bring it forward again towards the edge of the United penalty area. Back he goes for O'Reilly. He's had a very solid start in the heart of the Manchester City midfield. Kovacic to Gvardiol. Down to the left-hand touchline for Jeremy Doku. We're going to try and twist Diogo Dalot again. On one occasion he's just gone back behind square instead for Gvardiol. And Diaz is able to pick it up out towards Doku, and Dalot was in there with a really strong challenge. Play continues. The ball going past the pair of them. McAtee, Casemiro in late on him. And the referee acknowledges that, but City have still got it, so play on. And it goes out towards Bob on the far touchline, the Manchester City right. Now back from him to Akanji. 0-0 here. 18 minutes gone. And then when City work it forward, they do so without quality. It goes out for a goal kick that'll be taken by Onana, but there was real quality from that play from Jeremy Doku on the left flank.
Yeah, he does everything well. Goes past Dalot like he's not there, and he puts it into a good area. The only thing is that it's not even his fault. It's the rest of the Manchester City team. They runs into the box. They don't stagger them. They all go to the near post. They don't leave. No one pulls out to the penalty spot. No one comes out to the edge of the area. So when they all go in that line, it bypasses everyone because there's no real movement there. So again, it's great play from Jeremy Doku. Direct, puts the ball into a good area, but just really poor movement there from the Manchester City attackers.
It was O'Reilly that was coming in. He was the closest to it. I think he possibly anticipated that he was just going to be headed away at the near post by Mainu, but it had cleared him. And O'Reilly maybe caught in two minds, expecting a slight deflection on the cross, trying to adjust. Ball's gone out for a throw that will be taken by Diogo Dalot. Rangers led Motherwell by a goal to nil, but already that lead has been cancelled out. Dessers and Prupper, the goal scorers at Hamden between Rangers and Motherwell. Fleetwood leading Grimsby 1-0 in League 2. Charlie Adams' men ahead through Mark Helm. And Wimbledon have halved the deficit. 2-1 down there at home to Colchester. Akanji backpedaling. Works his way towards the edge of his own penalty area. Is able to easily mop up another long United ball forward. Trying to turn the City back line. Bruno Fernandes had made the run, but made the run in vain. The last 8 matches between the Premier League winners and FA Cup winners in the Community Shield. It's the Cup winners who've come out on top 7 times. The sole exception being when City themselves beat Chelsea back in 2018. But by and large, this is a game that the Cup winners tend to win. 0-0 at the moment. McAtee making his way forward. Now feeding Doku. Forward from Kovacic. Back from Bob. Out towards the Manchester City right-hand side where Rico Lewis just exchanges passes with O'Reilly. Akanji, Kovacic. Pressure being applied now by Mason Mount. The pressure wasn't being applied uniformly, though, from the Manchester United players. Mount did well, but Ahmad less so. And that allowed City the opportunity to play out from that right. Deflected ball inside the penalty area. Haaland is in there, tries to work it back, and Ireland was scrambling. But United had enough bodies back on the edge of their own 6-yard box to be able to get it away.
Great play from Rico Lewis there. He drove, and he puts the ball into a really nice area. He just drops it to that back post, and again, everyone had made the run to the front post, and Haaland, I mean, he should just let off the Doku when the ball comes to him, and then he has a clear shot and goal. But he tries to swivel and hit it, and he was never going to score in that type of situation. But again, great play on that right-hand side. All their best stuff's coming from that right-hand side.
And now Manchester City will bring it forward again. Well, the number taking a tumble inside the penalty area. There were no real protests or claims that there should be a penalty. Bob is back on his feet. Manchester City still have the ball inside their own half of the centre circle. Great turn from McAtee. Kovacic will be able to take over. Ball between the lines, bypasses Lewis, goes out towards Oscar Bob. Bob cutting inside the penalty area, unleashing the left-footed shot, but it's flown over the bar.
The first bit is absolutely outstanding from Oscar Bob there. He just drops the shoulder to his right, cuts inside Martinez, and it's one of those where Martinez knows exactly what he's going to do, but he just can't do it. And he creates another angle with that touch. And just there, a bit of composure. Don't smash it. Just try and roll it with your instep into that far corner. He tries to smash it, gets way too much on it, and he smashes it over. But great play in the first place. Really sharp from Oscar Bob.
Well, it's a scary sight, Benty, I have to say, when you see Oscar Bob over in this right-hand side where he's got the ball at his feet. You don't know which way he's going to go because of his pace, but when he does get it onto his left foot, and we talked about how brilliant he's been in pre-season, you just want him to hit the target because no goalkeeper's being tested yet, but they're starting to grow into the game, Man City, and get the ball into better areas.
Well, he scored against Chelsea in the friendly in Columbus last weekend. It was a game in which Erling Haaland got a hat-trick, 2 of those inside the opening 4 minutes. Where Manchester City were able to really capitalise on Chelsea's desire to play out from the back and force errors, and we've seen a relatively intense press from City today. At times, bearing in mind the nature of this fixture, everybody's still warming up really for the battles that lie ahead. City beginning their Premier League campaign away to Chelsea next weekend. United start at home to Fulham, and that game is live on Talksport Friday night. A game exclusive to national radio right here. Build up at 7 ahead of an 8 o'clock kickoff Friday night. United against Fulham as they begin their 24-25 Premier League campaign. Hamad playing it back towards the edge of his own penalty area for Maguire. And Maguire to his left for Lisandro Martinez, who, if you're just joining us, is playing at left back. But it is a very fluid back four that Manchester United have in operation today. He's got it back for Onana. Onana took a couple of hasty steps backwards and just took the ball over the top back out towards Lisandro. They've lost it though in a dangerous area, and the shot that comes in comes back off the inside of the post from McAtee and to safety for Manchester United. Well, that was City doing to United what they did to Chelsea last weekend, putting the pressure on, forcing the error, but they couldn't capitalise on the chance. McAtee opening up the body, sending a curling left-footed effort back off the inside of the post, and Manchester United survive.
Well, it all comes from Lisandro Martinez. He's the one who almost causes that problem because he tries to give a ball to Johnny Evans, and even if the ball gets there, I'm not quite sure what Johnny Evans is supposed to do with it. All he can do is clear it. He underhits it, and they press really, really well. And as you said, James McAtee, he shifts the ball onto his left foot, and he just bends it, and I think he just doesn't get enough on it, and he clips the inside of the post. Really good play.
And now Doku inside the penalty area, trying to open up the body and get a right-footed shot in. The guy too cute for that, just backed off and knew what he was intending, and he was able to effect the block, and Casemiro's brought down on the edge of his own box, and United have some respite and a free kick.
Do you know what? They're looking, and Casemiro's looking at Amad Diallo, and he's looking at Rashford to say, come and help us. But because they're having to do so much defensive work, come back and help the fullback, track Diallo on Amad Diallo and Diallo on that side, and Rashford and Martinez on the other side. When they do get possession of the ball, they've got no energy to go up the other end of the pitch and try and hurt this Manchester City backline. So they've got to find a way of either going more direct, and then they can all squeeze up as a team.
And more goals in League Two. Barrow, a goal up at home to Crewe. Walsall, a goal up at home to Morecambe. And Cheltenham have taken the lead at home to Newport. Keep you abreast of all of the League Two scores. Don't forget the League One season kicks off at 5:30. Now we'll be going around the grounds over the course of the evening, as well as bringing you another fantastic Olympics coverage from Paris. Manchester City turning the screw, can't find a way through. And Onana's got a goal kick that he will take for Manchester United. 25 minutes in, you're with Talksport, and the Community Shield is still Manchester City nil, Manchester United nil.
Judge him, I'm watching Manchester United trying to play out from the back, and I don't quite understand what the game plan is, what the tactic is, because Harry Maguire passes it to Johnny Evans, he goes to Martinez, it goes back to Johnny Evans, back to Onana, and he clears it and it goes out for a throw on, or it gets intercepted. I'm not quite sure what they're trying to do. They're trying to play through the lines, play through the thirds, or they're going to go a bit more direct. At the minute, it's almost like they're keeping the ball for the sake of keeping it.
Well, 60-40 in terms of possession at the moment. Manchester City have the side with the 60, but neither have forced a single effort on target. United haven't had an attempt at all on the Manchester City goal. And Ederson's as much a spectator here at Wembley today as he was for the FA Cup final when he was injured. Here's Casemiro, just outside his own penalty area. Plays it out towards Marcus Rashford. Rashford with a little bit of space in front of him. Launches it for Bruno Fernandes, helping it round the corner. Should be easily mopped up, and here's by Gvardiol. Ahmad had made the run, but Gvardiol was there first. Goes back for Ederson, who gets a rare touch. Back four towards halfway. Evans mops up for United. Has the ball at his feet again in his white boots. Just signed another one-year contract to stay at Manchester United for the 24-25 season. Plenty of speculation over the last hour or so that there will be two new faces in the Manchester United defensive ranks over the course of the next 48 hours or so, with around a £60 million outlay for the Bayern Munich pair, De Ligt and Mazraoui. And we'll keep you up to date with that story as it unfolds over the course of the weekend here on Talksport. Two players both known to Erik ten Hag as members of the Ajax squad that he had at the back end of his time in Amsterdam. Ball play for by Fernandes. Kovacic flicking it back to his goalkeeper. And Ederson taking a touch inside the 6-yard box, then swings the ball far too high for Gvardiol. His distribution normally is immaculate, but hit that one about 5-6 feet too high in the air. He's going straight out of play for a United throw.
Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do. Just clip it over the attacker's head, Diallo's head, and just drop it onto Gvardiol's chest. But I just said they got a little bit too much on it. But this is better for Manchester United, pressing in Manchester City's half.
The Rangers have retaken the lead through Václav Černý and home to Motherwell, 2-1 there. With United in possession, Ahmad bringing it forward. Kovacic knocks it away, and the tall, familiar blonde-haired figure of Haaland is back to help win it back. And then O'Reilly does well to seal off the challenge of Bruno Fernandes. Then trying to do a little bit too much, trying to chop back inside. And Fernandes read the script, won it back, and very quickly ventured 20 yards upfield ahead of him. Goes out towards the Manchester United left. Play through the midfield again towards Casemiro. Dalot now down to the United right. And Ahmad on the corner of the penalty area. Good turn from him. Not such a good shot. It is United's first attempt of the game, but it's gone 7 or 8 yards wide. The approach play, great shot, a little bit lesser.
Yeah, right idea, just wrong execution. Does really well, almost goes inside Gvardiol in front of Doku, so Doku can't touch him, because if he does, it's a penalty. And then he just gets a bit too much. He tries to almost with his instep just find that far corner, but it's almost more toe than anything, and it ends up going out quite wide for a goalkeeper. Good positive play from Diallo, but that comes from Manchester United pressing in Manchester City's half, not allowing them to get 2, 3, 4, 5 passes and then work the ball forward. They got in their faces, won the ball up back high, and they get the opportunity.
Well, we're through almost the opening half an hour, Mickey Gray. You've got the Manchester United fans behind you. What have they made of it?
Well, there was a few murmurs just a moment ago, Jim, from the Man United supporters, because I think this slow play is frustrating them and not being able to create too many opportunities. But as Darren just said there, in the last 30 seconds to a minute, they've come to life. They have to get Diallo involved in the game a lot more, because he's such a threat coming in from that right-hand side.
Here's Maguire as Ahmad peels away out to the right flank. Gvardiol just keeping an eye on him all the time, but Ahmad has 10-15 yards of space to himself at the moment. If United can get the switch of play right, they've pumped it over the top here for Rashford, who will chase after it. Easy for Akanji to mop up, and he can lay it back for his goalkeeper. And played out by him to Ruben Dias. This is United's first Community Shield since 2016. They won the last one. They beat Leicester 2-1 with Lingard and Zlatan getting the winner. And they won each of the last 4 Community Shields. Their last defeat in this fixture back in 2009. The fact that they've only played in 4 over the last 15 years is quite an eloquent statement of how life has been since Sir Alex's departure. City will bring the ball forward again with Jeremy Doku. Perennials in this fixture over the recent past. Not with any great degree of success. They've lost the last 3. Doku to Gvardiol. Dias. His right-hand side for Akanji. And Akanji controls it, checks, turns back the other way. Dias now towards Doku. had that breathtaking moment where he got away from Dalot, and on that occasion just dropped the shoulder and worked it forward in towards the feet of Haaland, who was easily cleared. City mop up again, right in front of the Manchester City technical area where Pep stands in his Nicky Gray trademark white t-shirt. Now goes from Bruno Fernandes out towards the right-hand side for Amad Diallo. And Amad running inside the penalty area, lays it off and goes for the return ball. Knocks it square across the edge of the 6-yard box. Mount couldn't get there. But nobody taking the responsibility for United. It was a magnificent move, the best of the game. They've come forward towards the edge of the penalty area. And Amad surely should have shot. Elected instead to pass. And Mason Mount couldn't reach it.
Do you know, it's great play from Diallo, and it's actually the right decision, but again, it's poor execution. He works the 1-2 really well with Casemiro, and once he's in there, they can't touch him. He just puts too much on the pass. If he leaves it in there, Mason Mount comes into it and taps it in the empty net, but he almost fires it across the box, and no one can get on it. But Diallo this first half for Manchester United on this right-hand side, he's been their most attacking threat. He's the one who looks like if they're going to get anything from this game, it's going to come through him, because he looks so lively, sharp, quick, going both ways. But just that last little bit of quality there, leave it in there, Mason Mount puts it in the internet.
So on that basis, you're rightly talking up Amad. The flip side of that is Marcus Rashford's contribution on the left.
No, he's not really doing enough for me, and I'm looking at his movement, I'm watching the ball, and every single time someone looks at him and they put their head up, he's almost just staring at him. I want to see him come off, spinning behind, play cat and mouse with the defender, as Diallo's doing. He's popping inside, he's staying wide, he's running in behind, he's coming off the front, he's trying everything to try and affect this game. And at the minute, Marcus Rashford is very similar to last season, not really doing enough.
There's a foul by Amad there on Vardiol. Free kick that Manchester City had taken in the wrong half of the field, but they worked it back, and as a consequence, play's allowed to go on. A couple of quick goals at Cheltenham, one apiece, and so Cheltenham lead by 2-1. Courtney Baker-Richardson halving the deficit for Newport after Liam Dawson had doubled the Robins lead. And Wimbledon 2 down very early on at home to Colchester, got it back to 2-2 through Jake Reeves. It's 0-0 in the Community Shield.
Do you know what's a sign as well, Jim? Is that when you look at Vardy, who loves to bomb forward as well, on this side he's like, do you know what, I can't do that because Diallo's pushing him back. On the other side, Rico Lewis is doing what he wants. He's running forward, he's making things happen because he's thinking, well, there's no threat going the other way.
Ball's out for a throw that'll be taken on the Manchester United right by Dalot. These two have met in a couple of Community Shields before. One's back in 1956 when it was the Charity Shield, and United won, beating the Manchester City side without the injured Bert Troutman that day. And on the edge of the penalty area, right from the shot comes in from Bruno Fernandes, and Ederson, should have been able to come out and claim it. He took his eyes off it and it bobbled away from his chest. He could gather at the second attempt. I think he was concerned because the initial shot from Bruno Fernandes almost took Ruben Dias off his feet. In fact, he ended up tumbling to the ground. Wore the shot from Fernandes, and is still down, just being looked at. But that was almost a horrible moment for Ederson because it seemed a routine take after the deflection. He came out to catch it and dropped it.
I think he looks at Ruben Dias, and because Ruben Dias takes it in the head and then almost stumbles back, I think he's like, what's happening here? But you're right, he nearly dropped it and it was nearly tapping. I think it was for Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes, but again, Ruben Dias, wow, he's braver than I am, because I have not put my head in line with that.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to come to terms with you earning your money like that. Of course you'd have put your head in the way of it.
To block that type of shot? No.
Yeah, if you were playing for... Oh, okay. Fair enough, that's Darren Bent.
Why do you think I was never in a defensive wall?
I didn't put it down to laziness or cowardice. Here's Manchester City bringing it forward from inside their own half. You learn things about people, don't you? You learn things about your work colleagues. I'm not used to Stuart Pearce having this kind of conversation. He definitely
would have put his head in the line with that.
Yeah, it speaks volumes. Maybe that's that's why he is as he is. Here on the edge of the penalty area, Manchester City are in possession. They've gone back inside their own penalty area, and Ederson will clear. Just for the record, I wouldn't either. Goes out towards the right-hand side for Bob. He can't control it. And Evans mops up from Manchester United, plays it back inside his own penalty area for another. Most of that penalty area is in sunshine. It's been a lacklustre day weather-wise here in London, but it's brightening up as things go on. The game is as well slowly. The chance is very much at a premium. Closest either side have come when McAtee hit the post for City. Here's Amad bringing it forward though for United now. 15 yards inside the City half. To his right-hand side for Diogo Dalot. Level with the edge of the penalty area. He's just rolled it back here for Bruno Fernandes, who's been here, there and everywhere from his false nine position. Little give and go. Bruno on the edge of the area. Maynard trying to flick it back to... Now it's worked out towards the left-hand side for Rashford. Shot across the face and wide. But another good Manchester United move. 0-0 it remains.
Yeah, great play again from Bruno. Acts like he's going to shoot. It's Casemiro who rolls it, and to be fair, it's not a straightforward finish, but you've got to hit the target from that range. I mean, it's perfect Rashford situation. Coming in off that left-hand side, just uses that defender, tries to bend it round him, but gets, again, way too much on it, and he misses the target from there. You've got to test Ederson. You have to, I'm not saying you have to score, but from that range, that area where he's so usually prolific, you've got to test the goalkeeper.
How many goals do you think Rashford would regard as par for this season coming in?
10 to 15, I'd say. I think for him and his ability, I know last season, I think 8 goals in all comps, nowhere near good enough. But for someone who plays as regularly as he does and gets in those type of positions, I think minimum, and that's me being generous with the 10, I'm looking more 15 plus.
8 in 43 in all competitions last season for Marcus Rashford. And as a result, didn't go to the Euros. Lee Carsley, England's interim head coach, is here today. And Rashford, one of the players that he will be keeping a very watchful eye on ahead of the 6 games of Lee Carsley's interim reign, or certainly interim reign to start with. We'll see what happens from there. You'll hear all 6 live on Talksport, including Ireland away in the first one. September the 7th is the date for that. Kicks off at 5. And it's live from Dublin here on Talksport. Ball's gone out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken away to our right by Manchester City's Ederson. And the Community Shield is often a little bit of a slow burn, and not always the case, but this one has followed type, really. 37 goalless minutes behind us.
Yeah, it was almost like Manchester City. They came out and started to really make decisions, press, trying to cause problems, and then they kind of came off a little bit, and Manchester City had their time. Then Manchester City again, with Doku done that great stuff down this left-hand side, and they hit the post, and now it's Manchester United's opportunities now to really cause them problems, but they've just almost gone down a little bit. As I said, if whoever could kind of lift the tempo, maybe 5-10%, I think can really cause problems, because neither team, I would say, are at absolute maximum yet.
Ball is out for a throw that Dalot takes for Manchester United. Doku winning the seconds, poked it through the legs of Kobbie Maynard. United 2 up in the cup final at this stage. They have just scored the second of the 2 quick-fire goals at this point of the first half. City have kept their clean sheet intact. In fact, Manchester United haven't had a shot on target up to this point. 90 minutes and then penalties if necessary in the Community Shield here on Talksport. 0-0 at the moment. Kanji goes out towards the City right-hand side for Rico Lewis. Back for Akanji. And now Ederson picking it up inside the penalty area. Rolling his studs over the top of the ball. And hitting it to his left. Back for Ruben Dias. Back very quickly for his goalkeeper. Put under pressure by Bruno Fernandes. City work it through the midfield. And now there's space for the retreating Haaland just to link up with O'Reilly. O'Reilly taking a touch, dropping the shoulder. Looks as though he's going to come through the middle. Gravitates out towards the right-hand touchline and wins the throw. What have you made of O'Reilly so far?
I've liked him. He's really composed in possession. He's tried to make things happen. And they're giving him the ball in tight situations where he's got Casemiro right behind him and he's comfortable in possession. He'll take the ball under duress as well. And every time he's got the ball, he always picks a nice little pass as well. The body position is lovely as well. Lets it run across his body. I've been really impressed with him.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a 19-year-old from Manchester City's academy to slot into the team and look anything other than completely composed and elegant in possession, but he's ticked all the boxes. Here's McAtee bringing it forward. He's come closer than anyone. A little back heel flick from him for Jeremy Doku, left-hand side of the penalty area. McAtee back towards Doku, just trying to feather a return ball into his path. He was put under pressure as he did so. Play's allowed to go on. City winning it back. Vardy on. Lewis playing it right back for City, but ending up at inside left in this particular move. Now Doku down the line. McAtee's got to go through the gears to make sure he can keep it in. He's won that battle. Now works it inside the penalty area. Took a little deflection. Lewis, clever little drop of the shoulder, playing it back towards the edge of the 6-yard box. O'Reilly was waiting. Maguire there to get it away from right in front of you, Mickey Graham.
From the City forward players is absolutely incredible, but just before that ball comes into the box, you see McAtee picks it up. I thought he was going to put the ball in first time because Haaland made his move. He had 2 or 3 touches. Haaland had to then track back a little bit. Opportunity gone.
And United have got a player down hurt on the edge of their own box and in need of a little bit of treatment as well on the back of all of that. It was good play from Rico Lewis, playing on the right-hand side, playing it right back, but like so many of the City players, all over the place. Harry Maguire is down receiving some treatment. Casemiro, Maguire's back on his feet now. Casemiro on the edge of his box is still sitting down, taking a little bit of fluid on board. The City players, as a result of that, in a little huddle surrounding Pep Guardiola, who will just make his way at the behest of the fourth official, Sam Barrett, back off the field to deliver the instructions that he wants. And he looks pretty animated, as you'd expect Pep to be. And he clearly feels as though there's not enough tempo or dynamism about City's attacking play.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, we've seen it in flashes in that first half, but there's times where they're getting the ball and they're going so quickly and then they turn back rather than go at them. I mean, every time Jeremy Doku's got the ball, he's gone past or tried to go past Dalot and make things happen. On the other side, more so with Rico Lewis going on the outside and Oscar Bob just coming inside. They can cause Manchester United problems, but they just haven't done it often enough. I can understand why Pep's getting a little bit more frustrated.
Live sport choice for you today, as always, here on the Talksport Network. Over on Talksport 2, we've got full Olympic coverage continuing, and in the men's 10-metre platform diving final, Great Britain's Noel Williams has won a bronze medal. Congratulations to him. We'll have more Olympics later from Paris tonight here on Talksport. That includes George Mills racing for gold in the 5,000 metres, Max Bergin in the 800, and Georgia Bell and Laura Muir both carrying British hopes in the 1,500. That's Olympic kick-off tonight from 6 here on Talksport. And at the conclusion of this game as well, all the reaction from the tunnel, Nicky, speaking to both Pep Guardiola and Erik ten Hag ahead of our Olympics coverage in Paris later. Casemiro's back on his feet, hasn't had permission to come back on as yet. Play restarting with Manchester City in possession. We've got 2.5 to go to half-time and probably a couple of minutes to be added on at the end of this first half as well. The Community Shield is still 0-0 and largely chanceless, but Akanji very nearly gave it away to Mason Mount with the ball square, parallel across the face of his own penalty area. He got away with that. Now City will work it forward quickly. Kovacic with a dynamic run out towards Doku. He's on the edge of the United box, feigns to shoot, now turns inside of the second attempt, and he's whistled one just wide. Looked as though it might have taken a deflection. It's a goal kick rather than a corner. But Doku dropping his shoulder, that confused Diallo, and then Diallo might just have got a toe to that, a brisk shot that just, and I mean just, went the wrong side of the post for City.
Do you know, I think if he hits the target, I think it's in, because he almost drops the shoulder, and I think he's going to bend it into that far corner, and he just reverses it back through the defender's legs, and Onana, he's rooted. I think if he hits the target there, he scores.
And it should have been a corner as well, having seen the replay. That seemed obvious from Doku's reaction. I didn't see the touch, but Doku's reaction certainly suggests that he took a deflection. Having seen the replay, it did just take a little nick off the bottom of the leg of Ahmed. United now bring it forward and win a free kick over on the far touchline. Some first half in that game of Wimbledon. Wimbledon 3, Colchester 2. They were 2-0 down. Matty Stevens has put the Dons ahead. Newport have equalised at Cheltenham. Cheltenham were 2 up and have blown that lead. Oliver Greaves for the Exiles. We've got just over a minute of normal time in the first half to go here in the Community Shield at Wembley on Talksport, where it's 0-0. Jim Proudfoot, Darren Bent and Nicky Gray talking you through the action, the 194th Manchester derby. And United swinging a free kick inside the penalty area. Mainu coming round the back, trying to volley it back into the fray, but it's come back off the top of his boot and slices behind to the Manchester City fans away to our right, out of play for a goal kick, and it looks as though we're going to get a half-time at 0-0.
Yeah, he's better than that, Kobe Mainu. It's a really good run as well, and a great pass from Fernandes. Just picks out his run at the back post. It's almost a simple volley just back into an area, but again, that's been the sign maybe of this first half. Just because it's pre-season, trying to find your legs again, trying to get up to that sharpness. Obviously had a long summer with the Euros, just trying to find your form again.
United struggling to get some of their big hitters into the game at the moment. Mason Mount only had a handful of touches in the first half as we go into a couple of extra minutes at the end of this first 45. And City send another wayward ball from the back. That's the third that they've given away a throw on the Manchester United right with a misplaced pass. Ederson, the culprit for the first, and then Diaz has now done it twice, sending a ball sailing way over the head of McAtee and out for a throw that will be taken by United and worked back from Maguire.
I mean, Pep looked absolutely fuming there. When he threw the ball back to Dalot, he almost slammed it into the ground because he can see what's happening there. They're just getting a little bit sloppy. I can understand what they're trying to do, but this first half, at times, don't get me wrong, they've been sensational at times, but there's been other times that have been really sloppy in possession, nearly gifted opportunity to Manchester United by playing up from the back as well.
Doncaster take the lead at home to Accrington just before half-time through Luke Molineux as Maguire goes back to his goalkeeper. And Onana just raises a right hand to calm everybody down, but try and run a few seconds off the clock here. First half stoppage time, 0-0 the score here on Talksport. Maguire forward towards Bruno Fernandes, who under duress spins the ball down towards Ahmad, and it goes out for a throw that will be taken on the City left, taken by Guardiola. Back for Ruben Diaz, and Diaz midway between the edge of his own penalty area and the halfway line as he goes square for Manuel Akanji. Akanji takes a touch and works it back to his left again for Diaz, and in turn to his goalkeeper. And Ederson just drives it forward left-footed and has put that one straight out of play as well. And that's the fourth time in the last 15 minutes the City have cheaply given possession away, just playing out from the back and not doing so with a great degree of care. Dalot takes the throw for United. Work back towards Harry Maguire. Rashford making an early run, but no time for Maguire to play the ball. A half-time whistle goes. Manchester City have come the closest with a McAtee effort that came back off the inside of the post, but nothing really for either side to write home about through the opening 45 minutes. It's 0-0.
Well, Manchester City had the best of the first half and Mickey Gray is behind the goal. City hit the post in that first half. Oscar Bob also had a chance, blazed it over. They dominated those early chances, but United kept playing out from the back, didn't they? And I wonder if that was a wise move, and what changed halfway through the first half for you, Mickey Gray?
Yeah, well, I think maybe that little bit of experience, because it was Martinez who gave the ball away for that opportunity for Manchester City over on that right-hand side for McAtee, and I was right behind it, Adrian, and Andre Onana was diving across to his right-hand side. Look, if it comes inside the post, he's got no chance, he's not getting anywhere near it. But when they started to go direct and getting Diallo involved in the game a lot more, the game started to spread out a little bit. You could see the panic in that back four of Manchester City, and they started to grow into the game a little bit. You can see there's a game plan for Man United, Adrian. They weren't going to go gung-ho from the first minute. So they sat back, they tried to soak up that pressure. They knew Man City were going to have a lot more of the possession, but when they started to grow into the game, that's when the problems, or when they started to cause Man City a lot more of a threat. But you could see in the touchline, I don't know if you can see it from where you were, Pep Guardiola was trying to get the players to get the ball wide to Bob and over to Doku as quick as he possibly could, because that's where they've been a threat. I looked at the stats from Erling Haaland, 9 touches in that first half, 2 accurate passes. If you want to do that for Mason Mount as well, 11 touches in that first half. I've heard a lot about him in pre-season, Adrian, but I'm not yet to see it.
Mickey Gray is pitch side for us behind the goal. Man City were attacking in the first half. United will be attacking that in the second half. And Darren Bent, United actually had some great chances there. Amad Diallo on the right seemed unstoppable, really.
Yeah, I thought he's had a really good first half. I mean, he tried to make things happen. It's maybe that last little bit of quality in front of goal which has lacked that first half. But everything they've done going forward has started on this right-hand side, Manchester United, with him being dynamic, trying to go past the fullback, cutting inside, having shots, little 1-2s. And as you said, he's probably been Manchester United's best player this first half. But on the other side, Rashford, they need more. They need a lot more, because he's got more. We've seen it. We know how good he can be. But for whatever reason, the last season, and certainly the start of this game here, hasn't quite been at it yet.
He's one of the most frustrating players I think I've ever seen. Yeah. For that exact reason you've just said. We know what he can do, but he just doesn't seem to do it.
No, I mean, there's times he gets the ball and you think, right, here we go at the fullback, cut inside. When he had that period after the last World Cup where he was pretty much unstoppable, well, he hit 30 that season. We haven't seen that for so long, and even now he gets the ball, he's a little bit indecisive. Do I shoot, do I pass? And even with his movement, for me, his biggest strength is his pace, running in behind. We haven't seen it nowhere near enough.
So, Man City, it seemed to me, dominated that first half of the first half. United got on top in the second half. of the first half. So what happens now? What's Pep Guardiola saying to his players?
Well, he's frustrated, so it wouldn't surprise me if we start to see a couple of changes, because you can quite clearly see at the end of that first half he's screaming at Ruben Diaz and Akanji, get the ball forward. So I think in the attacking areas there's been some good performances. I think Oscar Bob has looked good, but when you look at their bench, I think that's where he's going to go, do you know what, enough's enough. Maybe he might not do it now, but maybe 10-15 minutes, enough's enough, and we're going to see the likes of De Bruyne, maybe Bernardo Silva, these type players come on and hopefully win the game for Manchester City.
Yeah, Oscar Bob you mentioned before, and I think Rico Lewis as well. When we think about these players, they're almost like new signings, because they've had a number of first-team games, quite a lot of first-team minutes last season. It wouldn't surprise anybody if they became more regular this season for Manchester City. They look accomplished.
Well, do you know what? He's the master at that, Pep. When we was all screaming about Phil Foden, he needs to go out on loan, he needs more minutes, he was the one saying, no, relax. When he's ready to go, you'll see what I'm doing with him. And boy, have we seen it. I mean, he won Player of the Year last year, exceptional. You look at Oscar Bob, he's had a few opportunities last season, but pre-season he's ramped up a little bit, and certainly this first half he's been really exceptional, as well as Rico Lewis. So you're right, it wouldn't surprise me if this coming season they became mainstays of the team, because they have both looked really sharp this first half.
Quick word on a United youngster, Kobbie Mainoo, who I think early on in that first half he just looked so assured. How can you be that young, playing for a club like United on a stage like Wembley against a rival like City, and just look that cool and so good on the ball?
It's like no occasion's too big for him.
Amazing.
As you said there, he's rolling the ball with his studs, and I'm thinking, I won't do that, because if I miscontrol it, they're in. But he's rolling the ball, he's got his head up, he's going past people. And listen, he has been exceptional for Manchester United. Ever since he kind of made his debut and became established, he's become their most important player.
Yeah, he is some player, Kobbie Mainoo. But it is United 0, City 0 in the Community Shield live on Talksport. On Talksport 2 all afternoon, you've got Olympics. Let's get an update from Paris. Here's John Cushing.
Well, no goals at Wembley and no golds here in Paris, but Team GB have won a bronze medal. Noah Williams finishing third in the men's 10-metre platform. He won a silver with Tom Daley 2 weeks ago here at these games. Now in the final weekend, he's bagged a bronze. He qualified 12th out of 12th for the final as well and finished last in Tokyo, but he's got his success this afternoon. Team GB's 58th medal here at Paris 2024. There could be more, because Caden Cunningham is a round up against number 1 seed Cisse of the Ivory Coast in his taekwondo quarter-final. Rebecca McGowan's just lost hers, but 4th place finish this morning in the men's marathon for Emile Caresse, the 26-year-old's performance, the best in the event since John Brown finished 4th in Athens 20 years ago. Ethiopia's Tamata Tola won the gold. And the men's basketball and women's football finals take place later, and of course it's the last night of the athletics in the Stade de France, with Brits in 5 of the 8 finals. As you say, Adrian, the Olympics is live on Talksport 2.
This is Game Day.
Halftime classifieds.
Well, in League 2 half-times, AFC Wimbledon 3, Colchester 2, Barrow 1, Crewe 0, Cheltenham 2, Newport 2, Doncaster 1, Accrington 0, Fleetwood 1, Grimsby 0, Gillingham 1, Carlisle 0, Harrogate 0, Bromley 0, MK Dons 1, Bradford 2, Salford 0, Port Vale 1. Just before half-time, Ben Garrity putting Vale in front. Tranmere 0, Notts County 0, Walsall 1, Morecambe 0. In the National League half-times, Halifax 0, Barnet 0, Dagenham Redbridge 0, Wealdstone 0, Boston 0, Rochdale 2, Altrincham 1, Woking 0, Aldershot 2, Forest Green 1, Fylde 1, Solihull Moors 2, Yeovil 0, Hartlepool 0, Gateshead 3, Ebbsfleet 0, Tamworth 0, Sutton 0, Southend 1, York City 0, Oldham 2, Braintree 0, and Maidenhead United 0, Eastleigh 2. In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers 2, Motherwell 1, Ross County 0, Dundee United 0. Dundee against Hearts is a 5:30 kick-off. In the Scottish Championship, Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 1, Morton 0, Hamilton 0, Wraith Rovers 1, Partick 0. In League 1, Annan Athletic 0, Inverness 0, Arbroath 0, Montrose 0, Dumbarton 1, Alloa 2, Kelty Hearts 1, Stenhousemuir 0, Queen of the South 0, Cove Rangers 0. And in Scottish League 2, Clyde 0, Stranraer 0, East Fife 0, Edinburgh City 0, Peterhead 1, Forfar 0, Stirling 0, Elgin 1, and Spartans 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0.
Imagine if you could find out where that influencer's sick poster's from, even when they don't reply to your comments. No need to imagine. Simply unfold the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and use Circle to search with Google to find it. Aha! And they thought they could gatekeep.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Claim £150 cashback when you purchase before the 13th of August at participating retailers. Requires network connection. Results may vary. For cashback, claim from Samsung within 30 days of purchase. T's and C's apply.
Hey, is the new Vauxhall Corsa on sale now?
Yes, of course, sir.
Does it look dope?
Yes, of course, sir.
Is it fun to drive?
Yes, of course, sir.
Does it have advanced tech?
Yes, of course, sir.
And I can lease it for just $239 a month and $239 initial rental.
Yes, of course, sir.
Visit your Vauxhall retailer or search New Corsa. Personal contract hire. New Corsa Yes 1.2 turbo 100 PS T&Cs. Subject to status and availability. 47 months 18 plus. You will not own the vehicle. Stellantis Financial Services.
Tesco Finest Sausages. A great British banger. Enjoy them in the sun or when it's raining cats and hot dogs. It wouldn't be summer without them. It's why we ensure only the finest butchers prepare our succulently rich sausages. Make your everyday taste better with Tesco Finest. Majority of larger stores while stocks last.
Be online and on your smart speaker. Talksport.
It is Talksport live at Wembley, where we have the Community Shield. Manchester City 0, Manchester United 0. Now, earlier on, we brought you live commentary on the first Saturday of the Championship season, and it was an absolute thriller at Elland Road.
Dan James goes down in the area and wins a penalty. Strike with his left foot, sends the keeper the wrong way. And they have the goal they deserve. Pack slides it in, lovely ball. Finds Sorensen. He scored! Equaliser! Elias Sorensen turns and fires home for Pompey. Comes out to Callum Lang. Oh, what a goal! What a goal! Callum Lang hits it from 35 yards out. Two superb strikes from Pompey. And here comes Nonto into the area. Gets it onto his right foot. And Leeds are back level within a minute of the restart. Holding off Ampadu, goes into the area, goes down. He's given it. Jayden Bogle brought down Christian Sadie. Portsmouth have a chance to win it from the spot. Callum Lang, right-footed, right down the middle. And Portsmouth lead at Elland Road once again. Plays it to the edge of the area. Aronson makes room for a shot. It's 3-3. Ball into the feet of Aronson. Turn, shot, goal. 3-3, and Leeds and Portsmouth will have to settle for a point apiece in a thrilling game at Elland Road to open the EFL weekend on Talksport. A superb advert for the EFL. It's finished Leeds United 3, Portsmouth 3.
Yes, of course, we're disappointed we didn't win all 3 points after such a dominant performance in many spells of this game. It's a championship. Never underestimate the situation.
I know they're cliches, and it's very difficult to actually define some of those. But you know, we did see it today, and I think everybody can be very proud of that performance.
There you go, John Mousinho, the Portsmouth manager. He'll be pleased with that. Goalless draws, by the way, down 30% in the EFL last season. Yeah, 30%, and none so far in this new championship season. Loads of goals in our exclusive commentary at lunchtime then. It was actually 2-2 late on at Elland Road. Callum Lang, a late penalty for Portsmouth. They thought they'd won it. The travelling fans were singing Leeds are falling apart again, but then Brendan Aronson, back from a loan spell in Germany, struck an equaliser for 3-3. He even missed a chance to win it for Leeds at the death. Finished 3-3. Elsewhere in the Championship this lunchtime, newly promoted Oxford United beat Norwich 2-0. Norwich have just lost Gabriel Sara. It's a huge blow for them just before the season started. Josh Madger hit a hat-trick for West Brom, who won 3-1 at QPR. 5-goal thriller at the Den. Watford threw away a 2-goal lead, but then the Hornets nicked a late winner against Millwall. Elsewhere, wins for Sunderland at Cardiff, Middlesbrough against Swansea, and Stoke edged out Coventry 1-0. Hull and Bristol City drew 1 apiece. A late equaliser for Hull City under Tim Valters for the first time. Premier League is back next weekend, Friday night, Manchester United against Fulham, and Talksport has live exclusive commentary of that. I'll be at Old Trafford for an 8 o'clock kickoff. Join us on Talksport from 7 on Friday night. And then on Saturday, what a start for Ipswich. They host Liverpool live on Talksport. It's exclusive again. 12:30 kickoff. Game day begins at 11 a.m. I'll take you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in. It'll be me, Troy Deeney will be at a game. Dean Ashton will be at a game as well. I'll be at Everton against Brighton on day one of the season. And also 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, live exclusive Premier League commentary on Talksport 2 of Newcastle against Southampton. Let's have a quick word. The players are in the tunnel, about to come out onto the Wembley turf, where the sun is shining, by the way. But Darren Bentz gave a little fist bump there when I mentioned Ipswich Town against Liverpool. Does that mean you think, one, they might beat Liverpool, and two, they might stay up?
No, I think 4 points from the first 2 games. They've only got Liverpool, Man City. No, do you know what? It's going to be incredible to see them back in the Premier League. I was there when they were in the Premier League. I was part of the team that got relegated. But fantastic to see that club back where it belongs, because it's got such affection for that football club.
And this championship season so far, wow, goals galore. The Leeds Portsmouth 3-3 live on Talksport, incredible.
The championship is incredible. Anyone who doesn't watch championship football, they need checking, because it is incredible. You never know what you're going to get. You think, they'll beat them. Doesn't always happen. What a start.
Absolutely amazing, and so much more to come. Up to 150 live exclusive EFL games across the Talksport network. This is the only national radio station that cares so much about the EFL. We hold live commentary rights for games. We're here at Wembley, though, for the Community Shield. It's what they call, cliche alert, the curtain raiser. So far, it's been a decent game, but there are no goals. It's City 0, United 0. Second half about to get underway at Wembley, live on Talksport. Mickey Gray's pitch side. On commentary, it's former England striker Darren Bent alongside Jim Proudfoot.
And there are no changes at half-time, although Toby Collier had a pretty extensive warm-up during the last 7 or 8 minutes of the half-time interval. Was expecting that perhaps Casemiro, who picked up an injury at the end of the first half, wouldn't reappear, but he is back out there. Collier ready to go, though, should Casemiro be struggling in the early moments of this second half, which is now underway. Manchester City kicking from left to right, attacking the end of the ground that houses their support. Long ball played forward. Haaland, it's ricocheted back off Mainu, and then the boot was raised around the edge of the area, almost catching Johnny Evans around the side of the head. It's a free kick to Manchester United, which they will take on the edge of their own box. No changes at half-time.
Yeah, I don't expect to see any changes from system either. Both going to play that 4-3-3. Again, Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes almost taking it in turns to kind of play that false number 9, just trying to keep Manchester City guessing. And of course for Manchester City, the likes of Oscar Bob on this right-hand side, who I thought was fantastic first half, and Jeremy Doku on that side of Erling Haaland down the middle. So again, I think both teams, if they want to win this game, just need to up it just a little bit.
Now Martinez very nearly gave it away to Lewis and rescued things in the nick of time. United get it forward quickly. Fernandes over the top. Mount knew he was offside, so he left it. Rashford making a run onto the loose ball. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Turns away from Akanji once and twice, and then lays it back towards the edge of the penalty area, looking for Mainu. Lewis was in the way. As it ricochets around a little bit of pinball, the last touch of a United player puts it out for a goal kick that'll be taken for Manchester City. United didn't have too many opportunities in that first 45 minutes to exploit that counter-attack. Nearly got it to work for them there.
That all starts from an unbelievable pass from Kobe Mainu. He just drops it with the outside of his foot, a little clip pass into Bruno Fernandes into an area which I didn't even think was on. The pass was even on. I mean, they work it out to Rashford, and that's better. Get the ball, go at the fullback, try and go past him, get a shot off, try and make something happen. He was unfortunate that the kind of space closed in on him, but that's better from someone like Marcus Rashford.
Lewis plays it forward towards O'Reilly. He's been caught by Casemiro. And it's a free kick which will be taken on the Manchester City right-hand side. So this is how they line up. Ederson in goal for City. Luis Diaz, Akanji, Vardiol, O'Reilly and Kovacic, Bob McAtee, Doku and Haaland. For Manchester United, Onana in goal. Dallo, Evans, Maguire, Martinez, Casemiro and Mainu, Ahmad Mount, Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, but playing as the falsest of false nines on occasion. And as Bendy said, he's sort of gravitating and mixing it up with Mason Mount in that attacking position. But he's the furthest forward now, putting a little bit of pressure on Ederson, who can side-foot it out towards the edge of his own penalty area for Diaz. Back he goes for Ederson again. And Ederson towards the edge of the penalty area, clipping one nonchalantly, as it is one, down towards Rico Lewis. And Lewis brings it forward near the edge of the centre circle. Square from him out to Joško Vardiol. Vardiol to halfway. Now comes to put a little bit of pressure on McAtee, but the youngster can turn it to Ruben Diaz. Now down towards Akanji. Diaz again, put under pressure by Bruno Fernandes, almost sold the back pass to his goalkeeper short. Ederson wants a touch. He's at liberty to be able to take one. And then forward side-footed out from Akanji, but straight to Kobbie Mainoo. Evans steps forward, bringing it forward. Now Fernandes riding the challenges. Still he's got it. Got away from Kovacic. Down towards Rashford. The 1-2 between Rashford and Mount. Mainoo getting involved in that particular move. Makes it a passing triangle. Mount comes out of the triangle to play in Harry Maguire. Down from him towards Diogo Dalot. Dalot working it out towards Ahmad, who saw plenty of possession in the first half. Sandro Martinez from left back, turning it inside his own half of the centre circle. Back to his goalkeeper, Onana. And Onana will play out from the banks. 0-0 with 4 minutes gone in the second half here on Talksport.
Yeah, Manchester City tried to play out there, and again, Man United doing well, pressing the ball high up, trying to create an opportunity, trying to really get in Manchester City's faces, but again, nothing really comes of it. But I expect as this second half goes on, Jim, that see a little bit more quality in that final third, because I don't think it's been good enough. Certainly that first half wasn't, and the second half has started off a little bit similar, a little bit bitty, like the first half.
And now Mount's trying to play a long Hollywood crossfield ball out towards Ahmad, and got the angle wrong, got the pace right, but the angle wrong, and it's just gone straight through for Ederson, away to our left. Gillingham 2, Carlisle 0 in the early stages of the second half in League 2, and Dundee United in the Premiership lead away to Ross County with a goal from David Babunski. Ederson pulling the ball out of his penalty area again to Ruben Diaz. Mount very quickly was there on his toes to put the pressure on. It's gone back for Ederson. Ball played forward. Haaland trying to make something happen. And the loose ball just comes down towards O'Reilly. He's unlucky. It just bobbled off his knee. And that allowed Evans the chance to get it away. McAtee winning the second. Doku tries to play him in. And Mainoo is going to be able to bring it away after a sliding challenge of some rebuke from Diogo Dalot. And as it's played forward towards halfway, Mount is fouled. And it's a free kick in the centre circle for United.
Well played, Mason Mount, because the pass into him wasn't great. They literally fired it into him. I think it was Casemiro at hip height, and he just gets a touch in it and gets his body across Ruben Diaz, and it is a foul. It's really clever, because to try and get that type of ball under control in that type of area, if he'd have lost it, then Manchester City are on their counter-attack. Just gets his body in, Mason Mount, really clever, goes over and earns that free kick.
And what have you made of City defensively today? They've conceded 11 goals in their 4 friendlies. I know that it's been a different make-up with Calvin Phillips playing at centre-half, and that was an experiment that Pep Guardiola publicly said that he really liked the look of. He felt that Phillips was more accomplished there than playing 15 yards further forward as a 4. But they have let in a lot of goals. Today, they've hardly really given United too many chances.
Yeah, and I mean, when I looked at the back lines for the pre-season, as you said there, you're right. I think the last 2 fixtures were Calvin Phillips and Vardio. But when you add Akanji, who I think is fantastic, and Ruben Diaz, you're going to be a lot more stringent.
Nelson Osborne playing a left back in the last couple of those games as well. He's not in the 20 today. As United try and get Rashford into play down the left-hand touchline, but Lewis can watch that out. And it's a throw which will be taken quickly towards Kovacic. 0-0 in the Community Shield. O'Reilly trying to work the ball out towards the City left-hand side. Couldn't pick the pass that he wanted. United win it back. Kovacic then in turn gets it back for City. Now McAtee out towards the left for Doku. Haaland travelling forward. Can Doku get himself in a position to find him? He can't, because Casemiro comes across to block the turn. Then United on the turn themselves. Fernandes working it forward. Rashford giving chase. Akanji there first and gets it back for Ederson.
Great defender from Akanji, just read the situation really well, because it was quite clear what Bruno was going to do. It was a fantastic turn on his right foot, and then he said to Rashford, he didn't have to look at him, just puts it into an area, but Akanji's already read the situation and gets back 5 yards into that position before it even starts. But again, great play, great defender from Akanji.
Akanji with the ball at his feet now, in towards Haaland and straight back again. Akanji turning it towards the edge of his own penalty area for Ruben Diaz.
Do you know, I think Akanji's one of the best in the league, and I don't think he gets enough credit. People talk about Ruben Diaz, Van Dijk, Saliba, and rightly so, but Akanji never really makes a mistake.
He came on as a substitute at half-time in the FA Cup final. We've been very surprisingly left out, as had Diaz. They play with Stones and Ake at centre-half in that game. He's played nearly 50 games in both of his matches. And you consider the amount of money that has been spent by City, but plenty of other clubs on centre-halves as well. Akanji for a song in the grand scheme of things, it's only about 20 million or so. pound for pound, one of the best signings that Manchester City have made over the Guardiola era. Now the ball is released forward. No flag against Fernandes for now. Right-footed shot. Oh, it is a majestic goal. Curved into the top right-hand corner. I don't think it's going to count. The flag now comes up. VAR will check. My initial reaction was that he was offside. The quality of finish, absolutely magnificent. As he turned it with his right foot, sent it sailing into the top right-hand corner. There's the youngest pitch invader that you might see over the course of this season. It just comes up and gives Marcus Rashford a hug. He'll only be 8 or 9 years old, that young lad who is just being led away. And confirmation, having looked at the still, that Bruno Fernandes is offside. It remains 0-0.
I mean, the finish is unbelievable, by the way. He just bends it into that far corner. Little bit of side, like bit of whip, bit of dip on it as well into that far corner to beat Ederson. But yeah, quite clearly, I mean, he was probably about a yard offside. I'm surprised, and that's one thing I don't like about this new rule. I mean, you can quite clearly see that he's offside. Just put your flag up. Don't bring it back. But from Bruno Fernandes, wow, what a finish.
7 goals in his last 9 games, the back end of last season. Scored against City in the 2023 FA Cup final. And thought for a moment he'd scored his 80th goal for the club and one of his best, but the offside flag rightly up to deny it. Equaliser for Accrington at Doncaster, who fancy to go well in League 2 this season. Tyler Walton with that, 1-1. Manchester City with parity still intact here at 0-0. Work the ball back for Ederson inside his own penalty area. Launch long. McAtee beaten well in the air over on the far touchline by Casemiro. Casemiro letting the ball drop onto his right foot, hooks it back over his left shoulder. Tangle of legs in the midfield battle. City can bring it away. And here's Nico O'Reilly, and he's made 20 yards, 30 yards, plays it in towards Haaland. Haaland trying to supply him with a return ball, couldn't thread it through. McAtee fires in from distance and 10 yards wide.
I thought O'Reilly got the wrong pass there. I mean, for me, the pass was Jeremy Doku, who made a great run on that left-hand side. He'd outrun Dalot, but he tries a little intricate pass, O'Reilly, into a Nico O'Reilly, into an area there's no real space, and even if Haaland gets it under control, which he does, he can't really do anything with it. So, again, great play from Nico O'Reilly, but just that last little bit of quality, for me, the pass was wrong.
There's going to be some action on the Manchester United bench in a moment. We're going to see Scott McTominay, Alejandro Garnacho, who's left out of the starting lineup today, started each of the last 38 games for United in all competitions, but only on the bench today, but he'll be coming on in a moment. And United with Casemiro give it away on the edge of their own penalty area. City's touch to win it back, forces it wide. Doku, though, towards the edge of the box. Great challenge from Dalot to dispossess him, stop him getting a shot in. And now United on the counter-attack and work it forward towards halfway for Marcus Rashford. Rashford, back for Fernandes. Fernandes clipping a beautiful ball out towards the United right. Well appreciated by the supporters in red all around us. Ahmad inside the penalty area, pulling it back and knocked away by the retreating Manchester City midfielder Nico O'Reilly. United will come again over on the right-hand side. Ahmad with a drop of the shoulder. Mainu clipped in, bounces awkwardly inside the 6-yard box. And Lewis is forced to head away for the first Manchester United corner of the day. Let's go pitch side. Mickey Gray.
You just have to listen to the atmosphere, and I think both sets of fans are enjoying what they're seeing in this second half now, Jim. Man United on the front foot, opportunities, and it's not rocket science. To get the ball out wide to Diallo, he makes things happen. You can see players getting into the box. The finish from Fernandes, I have to say, was absolutely sensational. Unfortunately for United, VAR intervened and it was offside. Right call.
So United with this corner, and talk about the 2 United players that are going to be coming on. It will be a quadruple change actually, because Pellistri and Collier are going to be coming on as well. Corner first though, swung in from the United left from Bruno Fernandes. Ederson just able to get something on it to get it away. Back out towards Mason Mount, clipped inside the penalty area. Maguire waiting, headed it square, and the offside flag comes up. Akanji headed it away anyway. And Manchester United will now make the changes. So we're going to see Collier, Garnacho, McTominay and Pellistri all come on. Let's see who's coming off. Mason Mount is the first player to make way. Benty, what have you made of Mason tonight?
Yeah, he's tried to get involved in the game. I think there's been 1 or 2 moments of quality, but on the whole it just looks to me like he's still trying to find his best form, which I can understand. When you spend a lot of time out, it's difficult to kind of automatically come back to your absolute best. So Yeah, I thought he's done okay today. It's just building blocks at the end of the day. Pre-season and this type of fixture is building blocks to move to the end of to move into the Premier League season.
Harry Maguire is the second Manchester United player to have his number raised. Kobbie Mainoo is the third. So Collier will come on to replace Mainoo. You'd imagine that Maguire's departure will mean that they're going to put Martinez in at centre-half. Mason Mount's numbers come up twice, so we're still at a loss to know who the fourth Manchester United player to make way is. It's going to be Ahmad. So it's Maguire, Mainoo, Mount and Ahmad are the four that have come off. And they're replaced by Garnacho, Pellistri, McTominay and Collier. So still Joshua Zirkzee waits in the wings. 0-0 in the Community Shield, and we're approaching the hour. Here's Darren Bell.
Yeah, the change is a little bit of a freshen up as well. Pellistri with his pace, quick. Garnacho, we know, direct running. Obviously had a big impact in the FA Cup final, as we know. But it'll be interesting to see when Manchester City start to make their changes, because we've seen their bench. Their bench is absolutely loaded.
Collier in possession, the blonde-haired youngster who's making his Manchester United debut. Proud moment for him and his family. He's in possession, plays it back to the edge of the 6-yard box where Onana is able to bring the ball under control. So Dalot is playing at left back. And they've got Evans and Martinez now playing at centre-half. Collier has taken up Mainoo's position in the midfield. Garnacho has gone out to the right-hand side. As United work it with Dalot to Evans. Now back for the goalkeeper again. And now Onana slowing things down, bringing it towards the edge of the penalty area to Lisandro Martinez, and back again. Still Onana. Haaland only paying lip service really at putting any pressure on him. Now gets it forward. Garnacho through the centre circle out towards Rashford. Bruno Fernandes pinning away to the left-hand side, and he will now play it forward towards the edge of the box. Little reverse ball from him, not quite read by Garnacho. Still able to get a cross in. Rico Lewis blocked it. And Lewis will bring it down towards the right-hand touchline and feed Bob. Bob back for O'Reilly, and now Akanji inside his penalty area. Ederson wanted time for a second touch. He just about had enough time to execute it. Plays it out towards the far touchline. And now City working back inside their own penalty area again for Ederson. It's Pellistri that has slotted in at right back now in the revamped Manchester United formation.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a lot of pace on that right-hand side now with the likes of Pellistri there and Garnacho will link up really, really well. So it'll be interesting. And the only thing I'd say about that is Diego Dalot, I thought, done really well against Jeremy Doku. Now, can Pellistri do it? We know how good he is going forward, but defensively 1v1 with Jeremy Doku, can he get his body in? Can he deal with that one-to-one situation? So that's something to keep your eye on.
Some 4 changes for United. The sides have named 9 substitutes today. They can make 6 changes. And it's the usual 3 separate junctures at which they can make the change. So United, having made a 4 there, can just bring on 2 more, either together or on an individual basis. Here's Jeremy Doku making his way forward for Manchester City. Left-hand side of the penalty area. The Community Shield still 0-0 here on Talksport. City work it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. United very regimented, keeping a tight defensive shape behind the ball. Doku's able to find his way through. He played it back towards the edge of the penalty area. It's half cleared. Now towards Lewis. Lewis trying to get himself into a shooting position. Couldn't. Collier was in the way. Right-footed effort from distance, and he whistles not too far wide. It was a good attempt. Onana will say that he had it covered. It's played back towards the edge of the penalty area onto the right foot of Guardiola. He just opened up his body, and Onana just watched it drift past his post. 62 gone on Talksport at 0-0.
I think we saw right there straight away. Jeremy Doku got his head up on that left-hand side and saw who he was up against and went, all right, I fancy it a bit this, and he went past him. And that's just one situation. I'd be a little bit cautious if I was Erik ten Hag. I know he's made these positive changes, but defensively, Jeremy Doku against Pellistri, he's going to fancy that because he knows really Pellestri's not a defender.
Wimbledon 4-2 up against Colchester now. It's some turnaround in that game. City are going to make their first changes. And we're going to see a debut for Savinho. He will come on. Mateus Nunes is the other man who's going to come off the bench. So Nunes will replace O'Reilly, who's had a very solid debut for Manchester City and gets a A ruffle of the hair on his way on from Pep Guardiola. And Savinho will come on for Doku. Savinho, the £34 million signing from Troyes in France. He scored 9 goals in La Liga on loan last season. 15 in 85 in his career. And wearing 26, the 20-year-old Brazilian international, a left-footed right winger ordinarily, but he's coming on the left for his Manchester City debut here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them play. I mean, you spoke about the price tag there. They very rarely get it wrong, Manchester City. They do their scouting network properly and they don't seem to panic even when they lose players. They bring players in. So I'm looking forward to watching Savinho and seeing how he adapts to life in the Premier League.
Julian Alvarez on his way out. As I'm sure you know, he's on his way to Atletico Madrid, and a deal that could end up ultimately getting £81 million from Manchester City will be their record sale. I think it's an initial £63 million for Alvarez. A deal which we're expected to go through, but still yet to be ratified. It's Collier putting the pressure on Manchester City. It's Rico Lewis here. Lewis doing well to withstand that pressure, goes back for Akanji. The news earlier today, incidentally, United set to give Bayern Munich £60 million for Mazraoui and De Ligt. Right back and a centre-half, for 2 players that Ten Hag had at Ajax. Here's Haaland, right-hand side of the penalty area. Pulled back towards the edge of the box here for Manchester City. Oscar Bob can take over. Left-footed crossfield ball from him. Now towards Savinho. Good turn, little pirouette over on the left-hand touchline. Play back. Manchester City still well inside United half. Worked for by Kovacic. United win it back, and then Bruno Fernandes will release Garnacho, and Garnacho's 15 yards inside the City half. 25 yards now. Chipped over the top by Fernandes. Right-hand side of the area is McTominay. And it goes out of play for a goal kick because there's some really good defending there. The ball slammed into McTominay and goes out for a goal kick, which will be taken by Edison. Let's go back pitch side again and speak to Talksport's former England defender Mickey Gray.
Well, Jim, on that move there, Bruno Fernandes, when he dinks that ball over the top, I don't know if Darren agrees with this, but I think McTominay had to play that ball while it was in the air. He made the run, but as soon as that ball bounced, to give Nunes the opportunity to get back in. But the game's opened up so much now, a few tired legs out there. Hopefully we're going to see some goals.
Well, one might win it. It's 0-0 at the moment. And penalties on the agenda if necessary. Manchester City have got possession. 15 yards outside the United penalty area. Now worked out towards the left-hand side of the box, and they get their first corner of the second half.
Yeah, great play there again for Manchester City. I mean, I think Russell just put his hand up. Casemiro's put his hand up. I think he's had enough. I don't think he can continue going at this pace. But Manchester City, his last 5 minutes have just upped it a little bit. And that last situation with Scott McTominay, I agree with Mickey Gray. While the ball's in flight, he's got to get his head up. He's got to play it first time.
Well, United have got 4 outfield substitutes that they can yet bring on as the corner comes in. Diaz getting his head to it. United got a second head to it almost immediately. But City will pick it up on the edge of the penalty area with Bob, and he's just gliding down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Stands up a ball towards the far post. Volleyed back in by Savinho. Looking for Haaland. And cleared, ricocheting off a United player. And played back towards the far touchline. Garnacho just left his foot in. It was a genuine attempt to try and win the ball on the stretch. As the ball came down towards the far touchline. And he just got there a little late. Kovacic is okay. Now play resumes with a throw. Low forward again. Savinho standing the ball up inside the penalty area. Followed away by Lisandro Martinez before Haaland could show his predatory instinct. Still yet to score a goal for City at Wembley. Collier back towards the edge of his own box. And the blonde-haired midfielder has picked out the experienced Johnny Evans. Evans back for Onana. Onana puts the ball and stops it on the penalty spot for a moment, and then just plays further out towards Collier, who's drifted out towards the left. Doncaster have retaken the lead at home to Accrington. Good opening day for Luke Molyneux, who's got both goals for Rovers. They lead 2-1. And here's Scott McTominay now for Manchester United, who's been fouled, and it's a free kick.
Great play there from Scott McTominay, letting the ball run across his body and then driving forward. He did that really well a lot last season, got a few goals as well, and he almost, at one stage of the season last year, turned into their most important player. But good play there, using his physicality in his body and getting that from play. But it was a great pass into him from Onana.
Also in League 2, Carlisle have one back at Gillingham through John Mellish. 2-1 they trail. And Mateus Nunes is the recipient of with the first yellow card. Manchester United in possession with Lisandro Martinez. He's going for the diminutive Argentine. Towards halfway, Rashford playing it back. We're midway through the second half and still no closer to knowing which of these two sides will be lifting the Community Shield. City for a 7th time, or United for a record extending 22nd time. Kovacic, Haaland able to turn and drive single-handedly at the United back line. Ball worked by Savinho briskly down towards the right, but there was nobody there offering the width. And McAtee just looked and knew that he stood no chance of keeping that in, and it goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester United left. It's 0-0 with 69 gone.
The game's just not fluid at the minute. I mean, Manchester City are doing some good stuff, picking up the loose passes, and then the simple pass again, they're playing out of play, and it almost feels like this type of particular game that it's going to be a moment of brilliance. Like we saw Bruno Fernandes when he hit that one, even though he was offside, the finish. It looks like no team can really get that pattern of play going in terms of that interacting football, little 5-yard passes. It's going to be a moment of brilliance.
Now another long ball over the top. Bruno Fernandes running onto it, and he saw the keeper Ederson was 7-8 yards off his line. Tried to lob him, got it all wrong, and just fired it straight into his midriff. A shot on target, and they've been a rarity for Manchester United. Now City will be able to motor forward themselves. Nunes out to the far touchline. Savinho's got it, gliding forward. Nunes chasing after it. Martinez with a sliding challenge. And to make sure that he timed that right, he did. Gets his foot on the ball and puts it out of play for a corner.
Yeah, great play from Nunes as well. But I mean, from Savinho does well, but it just gets a little bit too much on the pass. And I mean, Martinez, he's taken absolutely everything there, ball and player. But again, Manchester City, that little bit of quality with the final pass, just overhit it just a little bit, and that allowed Martinez to get back in and make the tackle.
An historic moment for Bromley, their first ever league goal, scored by Michael Cheek, and Bromley lead at Harrogate by a goal to 0. Corner on the Manchester City left-hand side, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box and out for another corner. I think Evans is claiming that he headed it into the nearest City player. Jared Gillett didn't think it touched the Kanji, so it goes out for another corner, which is City's third of the second half and their 6th of the game. United have won just the 1. 0-0, the most important statistic. 70 minutes gone. Another Manchester City corner, which will be a left-footed away swing. Haaland. It's been watched by Collier inside the 6-yard box. Akanji, Diaz, both lurking with intent inside the penalty area as well. Vardioli's also up there. He makes a run in towards the near post. It's just over his head. Didn't quite reach Akanji either. Cleared by United. Lewis hoisting it high back out to the Manchester City left, but the offside flag is up. Play's got to stop anyway because there's been a clash inside the penalty area, and City have a play it out.
Yeah, it was good defending there. Again, Johnny Evans, that second corner, gets up really early and gets his head on it, and again, it looks like I can't see who's down, but it looked like a bit of a nasty clash. I think it might be Ruben Diaz, heads the back of someone's head, and it's perhaps Vardio. It's quite brave, but Johnny Evans again, getting himself up there, being brave, defending these crosses and these set plays really well.
And 19 minutes to go. Mickey Gray down the pitch side away to our left-hand side. What do you think Erik ten Hag's message will be for the remaining 20 minutes of playing time here?
Well, Jim, as well, I wonder if we're going to get to see Joshua Zirkzee make his debut for Manchester United at Wembley. Time's ticking away, isn't it? But I think that the discipline is something that has been interesting for Manchester United. Certainly in that first half we watched, but they're playing out a lot more with Onana than they did last season. I don't know if that's something that you've picked up.
It is, Mickey, I agree with you. They've just given the ball away by trying to do that now. McAtee has won it back. Bob Lewis back for Oscar. Bob trying to force a challenge and go the long way round Martinez, who stood firm. He then gets it away at the second time of asking from McAtee. Ball scoop for Garnacho chasing that, but the retreating Ruben Diaz is there to mop up and work it back for his keeper.
That is unbelievable defending from Martinez, because when Oscar Bob gets in there, I'm thinking, right, just shift it and shoot. He doesn't really bite, he doesn't really drop his body, he doesn't go to ground, he just holds his position, and the moment Oscar Bob tries to shift it to shoot, he just steps onto it and makes the tackle. Really experienced, but really good defending there.
Doncaster 3, Accrington 1 in League 2. Looks as though Rovers are going to be off to a winning start. Which of these two Manchester Giants is going to be off to a winning start for their 24-25 campaign? We still don't know. Ball out for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester City left by Diogo Dalot. A reminder, just 6 days until the Premier League season gets underway. United first up, facing Fulham Friday night at Old Trafford. Of course we'll be there. Game exclusive to national radio here on Talksport. The build up at 7 ahead of an 8 o'clock kickoff. Steve Bruce joining the commentary team for that Manchester United Fulham Friday night here on Talksport. Incidentally, Wednesday's Talksport breakfast show is going to be coming from Aston Villa's training ground at Bodymore. Jeff Stanley and former Villa captain Andy Townsend will be hosting from 6 till 10. Talksport going behind the scenes on Villa's preparations for the new Premier League season and their first appearance in the Champions League European Cup since the 1982-83 season. That's with the boys Wednesday morning from the Villa training ground. It's going to be a fascinating listen here on Talksport. Jeff and Ali back on Monday. The ball is with Edison away to our left, and it's still 0-0, 16 minutes to go. Port Vale with a couple of goals, lead 2-0 at Salford, then Garrity scoring the second of those. Kanji getting it away from Bruno Fernandes to Ruben Diaz. Laid forward down the City left, they win a throw. It's taken over on the far touchline. Savinho coming across to take it. With a big reputation after his £34 million move. There's an acquisition the City were delighted to get over the line. Still just 20 years of age. What potential he has as well as having a pretty good present as well. Long throw down the left-hand touchline, knocked away. Collier, who's had a solid introduction to the game since coming on. Work for Garnacho, big moment this for Rashford, he's hit the post. A 2 against 1 counter-attack. Garnacho knocking it square. Marcus Rashford coming onto it, opened up his left foot, side-footed it past the keeper, and it's clipped the face of the left-hand post and gone wide.
He has to score. He has to score. I mean, it's a great pass into him from Garnacho, who does all the unselfish work. He runs down that right-hand side, and he leaves it in an area where the goalkeeper can't get it, and there's no defenders can tackle him. Rashford, he keeps himself on the side as well. Really good pass. You've got to score. For me, he takes the wrong finish. He goes for that near post where there's not a lot of space, and it comes off his shin. He doesn't even get a good contact on it. It comes off his shin, and rather than him send it back where he comes from, he tries to go for that kind of near post that gets it completely wrong.
And Mickey, was that the finish of a man lacking in confidence, do you think?
Without a doubt, Jim. I mean, Darren's the striker here, but as that ball comes across, initially looked like Marcus was going to try and place it with his right foot, and then changed his mind at the last moment and tried to slot it into the corner with his left foot. And that is a man lacking in confidence in front of goal, and that was the moment all United fans have been waiting for.
A chance that wasn't taken. That's been the story of the game. 15 minutes to go. City 0, United 0 it remains. Both sides will look back at chances that they've had to win this. This has had the ball in the net, disallowed correctly for offside. City hit the post in the first half, United have hit it in the second.
As the ball comes in from that right-hand side, Jim, all he's got to do is just, I know at times it's difficult, just lend it back into that corner that it came from, because Edison's moving across that way to the finish that he opted for. I mean, as I said, it came off his shin. There's not a lot of room there to, even if it hits the target, potentially Edison might save it. But as the goalkeeper comes across, if you just leave it back where it comes from, even if you don't get a good contact on it, it ultimately ends up in the net. So really poor execution there from Marcus Rashford.
Well, he's got a new striking coach this season. Ruben Nistelrooy is the assistant manager at Manchester United. He'll be giving Rashford the benefit of his expertise and the countless goals he scored in his career. Part of a pretty much all-new-look coaching team for Erik ten Hag. They brought René Hake and Andres Georgson in as well. A new goalkeeping coach in Jelliton Rauvelaar, a Dutchman that's worked with Ten Hag before. Well, that was a big moment for Manchester United, big moment for Marcus Rashford. Not just today, but you sense that it would do so much for him if he was able to open his account with a really significant goal, do so much for his season as well. Not to be as yet. 13 minutes to go, and it remains 0-0. Partick Scott Robinson has been sent off. Manchester City still in possession, bringing it forward towards the halfway line. Left-footed ball clipped over the top. It's looking increasingly likely that this game may well need penalties. Offside flag curtails the latest City attack, and we've got 12 and a bit to go.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Manchester City, I'd say last 10 minutes, we haven't quite been at it at the minute, not really causing too many problems, and it's United, and more so since Garnacho's come on, to be fair, and that's maybe a little bit harsh on Diallo, because I thought he'd done really well while he was on the pitch, but Garnacho, certainly in the last 10 minutes, has been spinning them behind, causing problems, and a lot of Manchester United's good stuff again is now coming down that right-hand side.
City have still got 4 changes left at their disposal, and we're going to see Bernardo Silva come on in a moment. Here's Collier. Good turn in possession from him. Bruno Fernandes tries to take the ball off the toes of his teammate, but Collier took it on. Rashford then with an excellent crossfield ball out towards the United right. Here's Garnacho coming in off the flank. McTominay's ahead of him. Garnacho into a shooting position. Tries his luck. Hits a pair of City legs and spins wide for a corner.
Yeah, good play from Garnacho. Trying to be positive, trying to make things happen. I mean, to score from there with your weaker foot would have taken some doing, but listen, he's got himself a corner, and now they get to load the box.
Gillingham 3, Carlisle 1. At Priestfield with Jack Nolan scoring. So this is just the second Manchester United corner of the day. Both in this second half. Bruno Fernandes stands over it. Rashford runs away. They've loaded the 6-yard box. McTominay and Evans both in there. Rashford peeling away towards the back post. It's fired in his general direction. He gets a strong header on it, and it travelled a long way past the lunging McTominay, who couldn't get a touch, but past the far post as well.
He does really well, Rashford, because he almost bends his run round to the back post, and again, it's a great ball from Bruno, and he gets up really well. And do you know what? I don't think Rashford is going for goal. I think he's trying to just leave it in an area, and he does it really well, and I think it's McTominay that misses it. So it's really good play from Rashford, but really poor execution from McTominay, because he does everything right, Marcus Rashford.
And now City make a change, and McAtee's going to come off, and he'll be replaced by Bernardo Silva. A decent player to be able to bring off the bench.
Not bad him, is he? I mean, he is somebody who's made for these occasions. Comfortable in possession, can take the ball in any situation, and he always seems to play in the big games for Pep, so Pep clearly trusts him.
So Bernardo Silva coming on, his 356th appearance for Manchester City, and his 6th in the Community Shield. He's won a couple of them, 2018 and 2019. He's featured in all 3 that City have lost over the last 3 years. Here's Dallo, put under immediate pressure. Bernardo Silva gets a first touch and then takes it on. Haaland making a run either side of him. They almost collided. Silva flicking out towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. Here's Savinho to Rico Lewis. Lewis couldn't get himself into a shooting position. Plays in Bob. Bob trying to work it down the right-hand side of the penalty area for Silva, and it's clear, but City will come again. Akanji back for Bob once more. The Norwegian international coming in off the right flank. Akanji's 20 yards adrift at the edge of the penalty area, goes square for Kovacic. City then go a little bit deeper. Vardiol back out towards Savinho, making a run down the left-hand side of the box and followed every step of the way by Collier. And then United concede a free kick over on the far touchline, which City are in a hurry to take. We're in the final 10, and it's still 0-0.
I fully expect Manchester City now to get on the ball, start to make things happen with someone like Bernardo Silva, who's always on that half turn, always in that little pocket of space. As I said earlier, always comfortable in possession, always playing on the half turn, trying to play the ball forward. So I expect him to have a big say in these last 10 minutes.
And that's a lovely turn by Savinho over on the Manchester City left. Nunes trying to take it on. United win it back. Ricocheting Fernandes' way. Fernandes turns very quickly, assesses the situation and plays in Garnacho, who's travelled a long way and scores. Massive moment for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes, the architect, playing forward towards Garnacho. Garnacho slipping it onto his left foot, fires it into the bottom right-hand corner with real precision. First time he's been left out of the Manchester United starting lineup in 2024. But he's come off the bench and put himself right in the centre of the picture. It's the familiar celebration, sitting on the hoardings, taking the acclaim. And United, who beat City here at Wembley in the FA Cup final, are 8 minutes away from beating them here at Wembley in the Community Shield.
He's been the difference. Garnacho, since he come on, but again, he got himself into that position similar about 5-6 minutes ago, and he was a little bit far out. This time, when he gets the ball, and again, it's great play from Bruno Fernandes. With the outside of his boot, he just rolls it into him. But once he gets into this area in the penalty spot, he just takes his time, he cuts inside, no one can put a tackle in, and again, it's that finish where you hit it between the defender's legs, you go back where it comes from. Ederson can't react, and he just rolls into the corner. It's not a clean strike, but because it's so precise, it's a really, really good finish. Back where it came from, fantastic finish, and he has been brilliant since he came on, Garnacho.
He scored the opening goal in the FA Cup final. Mickey Gray's just scored the opening goal in the Community Shield as well.
Jim, listen to the atmosphere behind me. It's absolutely incredible. And you're right about Garnacho since he's came onto the field. He's been absolutely fantastic. He had a little look with his left minute before he scored that goal, but what a finish. It's like Diaz has shepherded him in towards the penalty area, and then Akanji, he's not stood his ground, he's went to ground, and that little slot into the bottom corner. They've been waiting for it. Just listen to this atmosphere now. Absolutely fantastic.
Manchester City beaten by Leicester and Liverpool and Arsenal in the last 3 Community Shields, and now trailing Manchester United. Only one side has ever lost 4 successive Community Shields. That United themselves around the turn of the century. But they might be inflicting a defeat here on Manchester City, who've only lost 12 games over the last 2 seasons. But is it going to be back-to-back defeats against Manchester United, either side of the summer break? 1-0 United lead in the Community Shield here on Talksport. Alejandro Garnacho's 82nd minute goal may well win it. City with something to say about it. Work it wide, out towards the right for Oscar Ball. Rob controls it, comes back for Akanji. Akanji to his left-hand side. Kovacic taking it on inside the centre circle. City need to get it forward and get it forward.
Well, Pep's not happy in the slightest. He's standing there with his hands on his hips and he's waving his arms about because there's no movement. Everything's to feet. He's screaming out hard and running behind. Oscar Bob running behind. No one. Everyone's coming to feet. So I can understand why he's getting so frustrated because it's so predictable at the minute.
City will be able to get it forward now. Nunes de Savigno over on the far touchline. And United have conceded a throw, which will be taken, or have they, over on the far side. And then there was some afters over there on the far touchline involving Garnacho. And Garnacho controlled the ball. And Bernardo Silva wanted to restart play quickly. And Garnacho, knowing that a free kick had gone against him, fired the ball back to his goalkeeper. And it's a yellow card for Bernardo Silva for a naughty challenge on Garnacho. I mean, he's left that in proper late. He's gone in and shoved him with his left shoulder into the rib cage. I mean, Garnacho knew exactly what he was doing and put himself in the firing line by naughtily stopping Manchester City taking the free kick quickly.
Yeah, a little bit naughty there from Garnacho, but again, they're winning, so I can understand a little bit of time wasting, just trying to frustrate this Manchester City side, and it seems to be working because Bernardo Silva, you don't usually see that from him, and even he was frustrated. Left a little bit on Garnacho there, but again, it's 5 minutes left before Manchester City, but they just haven't done enough. In the final third, they've shown flashes of brilliance in the Manchester City that we all know, but for large spells in this game, it's almost that last little bit of quality kind of eluded them a little bit.
Free kick to Manchester City, and they've taken it. 5 to go. And it's United who lead by a goal to nil in the 194th Manchester derby. A 22nd Community Shield could be theirs. McTominay bringing the ball away. Just tapped it straight out of play for a throw. City in a hurry to try and get on with it over on the far touchline. Chasing the game here. Garnacho's goal, his 16th for his club. Manchester United bring the ball forward and win possession over on the far side. So free kick that will be taken a yard in from the right. City have still got on the bench Kabore and Phillips. But most significantly in this situation, Kevin De Bruyne is waiting.
I don't think we'll see him. I don't think Pep will play him. I understand the Premier League season's around the corner. It was obviously a long summer with the Euros. I just don't think we'll see him in this type of situation where you probably need him, that little bit of quality in that final third, which they've really lacked. I just can't see Pep risking him.
Crowd of just a shade over 78,000 here, pretty much evenly split, and it's the Red Hordes who are singing. They lead courtesy of Garnacho's 82nd minute goal. Long ball pumped forward, hits the corner flag, goes out of play. The throw which will be taken on the City left hand side. Don't forget the live sport doesn't stop here, because as well as having the reaction from the tunnel from both Pep Guardiola and Eric Ten Hag, Anthony Sawyer bringing another night of Olympics coverage from Paris. Likes of George Mills, Georgia Bell, Laura Muir, Max Bergin, all in action. Olympic kickoff tonight from 6 here on Talksport. City work it quickly down the right-hand side. Lewis has run out of room. Throw which will be taken by Manchester United. What a fillip it would be for them. if they can hold on here and start their season with a victory over the old enemy.
Oh, the confidence that will give this team, and Erik ten Hag himself, because a lot of was made about his job and him getting the contract extension. If you can go and beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final and then back it up so people know it's not a fluke in the Community Shield, yes, some people call it maybe a glorified friendly, but still you're playing who we perceive as the best team in the Premier League. If you can back up and beat them again, that will give your squad massive confidence going into the new season.
Colley's done well to maintain possession in the midfield for Manchester United. City will be bringing Ake on in a minute. And we've got 2.5 minutes of normal time to go. Plus maybe 3 minutes of stoppage time to be added. So about 5 minutes of playing time here for Manchester City to find an equaliser that will take this to penalties. Got into penalties last year playing against Arsenal. Been beaten on spot kicks. Got possession here in the midfield. Kanji working it forward, squeezing it through towards Oscar Bob. United certainly haven't won it yet. Bob towards the edge of the penalty area, laying it off for Rico Lewis. Lewis coming towards the edge of the penalty area. Savinho has come out towards the right. Very left-footed player. He's done well, works it around the corner. Bob chipping it in, and the header is in. Manchester City are back on level terms. Bernardo Silva celebrating his 30th birthday by getting Manchester City back on level terms with a chance of a shootout. And United 90 seconds away from claiming the silverware. Has still got work to do. Bernardo Silva with a header. It's 1-1.
That is incredible. That goal, I mean, Oscar Bob does fantastically well, but that goal is all about Bernardo Silva. He wanted it more than anyone else. As the ball comes to that back post, Pelestri's got his body there. He's about to head it away. Bernardo Silva goes flying across the front of him, throws his head at it, and by the way, he's brave, but what a header. It flies into the roof of the net. Really good goal. I mean, Oscar Bob, great play there. But Bernardo Silva's the one who wants it more than anyone else, and it is a fantastic header. He powers it into the roof of the net.
Yeah, he saw Pelestri's number and fancied his chances from that moment and really attacked it. Pelestri going the wrong way, back defending, and Silva with a flying header, 7 yards out. 1-1 in the 89th minute. City make the change. Vardiol coming off, Ake coming on, and now we will see Kevin De Bruyne. Because it looked as though he was going to be left in the wings. City with an opportunity potentially to win it. We'll bring on, at the very least, an expert penalty taker. So Bob comes off. Great last contribution from him. De Bruyne for Bob, Ake for Vardiol. It's 1-1 as we go into stoppage time.
To be honest, honestly, Jim, I've never seen Pep Guardiola sprint as fast up those steps when that goal went in. He ran straight to Kevin De Bruyne and basically ushered him up, get your shirt off, you're going on. I don't think he was coming on while the result was 1-0, but clearly he feels they can go and win this game with a little bit of quality, one more opportunity, and he's put Kevin De Bruyne on.
And they've got 5 minutes of stoppage time to get over the line here without the need for it going to spot kicks. And Mickey Gray, it's all gone very flat behind you.
Oh, it absolutely has, Jim. I mean, you talk about momentum changer, but look, it's a right winger playing at right back, switching off to give Bernardo Silva just that little moment he needed. But Penty's right, Oscar Bob, absolutely outstanding wing play to dink that to the back stick to get themselves back on level terms. Wow, which way is this going to go now?
So 1-1 in stoppage time. Dallow bringing it forward. We're with Talksport, Scott McTominay now. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Garnacho thought he got the winner. Right-footed ball. Bounces inside the 6-yard box. United will be able to keep it alive with Fernandes, but down by the left-hand touchline. Jadon Sancho has come on now for Manchester United. The ball in from Fernandes is knocked away. City on the break. Kevin De Bruyne almost able to thread it through for Haaland. Second ball played forward. De Bruyne got himself back on side, I think, and he's still got it on the inside left channel. Played into Pelestri. And out for a throw that'll be taken on the Manchester City left.
That was unfortunate because Kevin De Bruyne, he was motoring with the ball, and I can see what he was trying to do. I think he saw Haaland make a little bit of a run. It just gets blocked. It's good defending in the end, I think, by Casemiro. But with De Bruyne on the pitch now, Manchester City will fancy himself to create one more opportunity. I think it just comes down to whether they take it or not.
Man who scored more league goals than any other man in the 21st century in England. Billy Sharp gets another. Doncaster leading Accrington 4-1. De Bruyne trying to get it in towards Haaland. Bruno Fernandes knocks it away. High right-footed ball over the top. Ake will watch it drift over his shoulder. And he's put under pressure by Garnacho, who's got to make sure that he doesn't lose possession there. And he has, but it's a throw. It will at least allow City the opportunity to regain their defensive shape behind the ball. But it's a throw to Manchester United midway inside the Manchester City half. We've played 2 of the extra 5 minutes, and it's 1-1. And still the most significant moment of the day lies ahead of us. Garnacho thought he provided that. Bernardo Silva's flying, had us 7 minutes later, tied it up at 1-1. Bruno Fernandes. It's actually a free kick for a foul by Ake over on the far touchline on Garnacho. And Fernandes will go across to try and take it. Martinez is waiting in there. Casemiro makes a darting near post run. There's a tumble inside the penalty area. Martinez, the man that went down. City get the ball away. Get it back into the other half of the field. De Bruyne chasing after it, but Onana's going to get there first. Long left-footed ball pumped forward from him. Over the head of Sancho. 350 days since he last played for Manchester United. He's been persona non grata for a large period of that. Ended up playing in the Champions League final. And now back at Wembley to revitalise his Manchester United career. Not that he's got many minutes to do. Ball's gone out of play to throw, taken quickly by City for a Akanji.
Well, the manager, Erik ten Hag's given him another opportunity. So now it's up to Jadon Sancho. We're still waiting. We're excited. We want to see him. That Jadon Sancho we saw at Borussia Dortmund first time around. He's got an opportunity now, but again, we've said it. He's got to take it. If he gets opportunities, he has to take it.
Former City man as well. Had a brief spell at City as a youngster. Made an appearance for the club before he made his move to Germany as a teenager. 90 seconds left. And the ball at the feet of Ederson inside his own penalty area. Ederson for Akanji. Akanji slipping it through the midfield. Kovacic's taking it on. Just steps away from Casemiro's challenge. Now works it out towards the left-hand side. Manchester City still with an opportunity to win this without the need for penalties. Savinho back for Kovacic. Kovacic to his right-hand side. Coming onto it is Rico Lewis. De Bruyne into a dangerous area, but Haaland didn't gamble. And it ends up in the hands of the diving Onana.
What a ball from Kevin De Bruyne. Haaland has got to be on his toes. If he just gambles and gets himself in there, it's unlike him. If he gambles and gets himself in there, he taps it in, they win the game. But he's just on his heels there because it looked like a ball of a straight cross, but Haaland's got to gamble, get across that near post, and it's a chance there for him.
So Onana killing time. Waiting for Haaland or De Bruyne to put him under any pressure, then gets the ball out of his hands. Drills it forward for the edge of the penalty area, looking for Sancho on the Manchester United left. Comes down towards Collier. City win it back with De Bruyne. De Bruyne back for Akanji. 20 yards inside his own half. Goes square to his left-hand side for Ruben Diaz. Diaz turning it under pressure from Garnacho back to his goalkeeper. Ederson with a little turn on the edge of the 6-yard box. 4.5 minutes into stoppage time, but gets it away from Garnacho. Play forward now towards Rico Lewis. Lewis opening up the right foot, looking for Kevin De Bruyne. He's lost possession. Sancho winning it back, but that is the last touch. But it was a slow burner over Community Shield, but both sides scoring in the last 8 minutes. So it will go to penalties for a second successive year. City 1, United 1.
Well, I thought they were going to do it again. I thought that United were going to make the noisy neighbours pipe right down, but it didn't happen. But what we did see were 2 terrific goals that I thought the game deserved, Darren Bent. I thought it was a really good competitive game. I didn't think it was a slow-paced pre-season friendly, and I thought both sides wanted to win it. And then Garnacho gets free, cuts in from the right. I've got a question here. It is a terrific goal, it's a terrific finish. It's all about Garnacho. But why don't, you said they can't tackle, why don't City get close to him or put in any kind of challenge on him? I don't get it.
I think they're so nervous nowadays about giving penalties away, and the slightest bit of contact in the penalty area, it goes to VAR, and ultimately it gets given as a penalty. So I just think they try and back him and try and get blocks in rather than get their arms across him. I'm not saying drag him down, but just lean on him, make it uncomfortable for him. But he almost had the freedom of the box. He goes across it, and as I said, it's a great finish because Ederson, the goalkeeper, as Garnacho's travelling across the box, Ederson's travelling with him, and he just drags it back into the corner. And as I said, it wasn't the cleanest of strikes, but if you get it pinpoint precision into that corner, it's a really, really good finish. And he had a chance of that like that a little bit earlier, which was a little bit further out. So once he got the opportunity there in the box, really, really clever finish.
When we were both young and stupid, on a night out, there'd always be somebody you needed to calm them down, right? Yeah. That man today is Bernardo Silva. He's come on, he's launched into Garnacho with the ball's in another postcode, and he's just launched into him, basically almost his elbow or knee into his rib cage, and bundled him into the sidelines. It's like he's fired Man City up, and then he's gone for a header where he could have his head taken off. You know, I mean, he's put himself into danger there. That is some sub-performance from Bernardo Silva, that.
Do you know what? I wonder if he was a little bit frustrated with the amount of minutes he was given. So he really comes on the pitch with a little bit of the ump.
Yeah.
Then Garnacho does that to him, so he then kicks a Garnacho over, he takes a booking. But as you said there, Ray, once Oscar Bob leaves it in an area, Pelestri should really go onto it and head it. The moment he took a back step, Bernardo Silva absolutely throws himself at it. But not only does he get the header on it, it's the way he fires it into the roof of the net. And he's not somebody I look at and go, he's unbelievable in the air. But he just wanted it more than the defender did, and it was a fantastic goal. Yeah,
it was a right winger at right back, so Bernardo Silva fancied his chances. And the other thing to say about that, you mentioned Oscar Bob there, it's not just the cross which is superb, but the quick feet. He shifts the ball, the defender's got no chance, makes space for him when there really should be no space. That's high class.
That's absolute top quality coaching from Pep, because there was one time before that where he did the exact same movement and Martinez didn't fall for it and he got his body in. This time Martinez dangles a little leg out, it goes past him, but as I said, the composure to just leave it in an area and all you do is please just someone get on the end of it, and Bernardo Silva did that and scored a great goal.
1-1, we're going to go to penalties. They're getting ready. Mickey Gray is actually behind the goal where I think the penalties are going to be taken. Lucky you, Mickey Gray.
Oh, I know, yeah, Adrian. It's the penalty spot that I missed on as well, so I'm pleased I'm not taking one. But no, look, entertaining second half, Adrian. I agree with what you're saying. I think that aggression has to be in the game as much as you possibly can. You know, you see the Garnacho goal. I think somebody has to make a challenge on him. But right winger playing right back, Bernardo Silva's not the biggest man in the world, leaping over the top of Pelestri to get that equalising goal. You could see United in the last 3 or 4 minutes, they were hanging on, they dropped a little bit deeper, and not often we said it in the game, but Martinez got caught, didn't he, 1v1, and Oscar Bob showed that pace and brilliance just to skip by him and put a wonderful ball to the back stick for that equalising goal.
Mickey Gray, I wasn't going to mention that penalty. You mentioned it, not me. They're getting ready for penalties. Let me give you some full times that are in from League Two. I'll bring you a classified check after this is done here at Wembley. Gillingham have beaten Carlisle 4-1. Cheltenham 3, Newport 2, a late winner for Cheltenham. Fleetwood 1, Grimsby 0, Salford 0, Port Vale 2, MK Dons 1, Bradford 2, and Tranmere 0, Notts County 0. Those all full times. Full classified check to come. Penalty shootout to come here at Wembley. After the Community Shield finished, City 1, United 1. Here's Jim Proudfoot.
United have won their last 2 shootouts and will shoot first in this one, attacking the end of the ground that houses their fans. Bruno Fernandes, who's scored all 3 spot kicks that he's taken in shootouts, makes that 4. And in his first blood to Manchester United, Bernardo Silva will come forward next. City have lost 2 of their last 3 shootouts, and in fact 3 of the last 4. Beaten by Real Madrid in the Champions League quarter-final last season when Silva missed. Kovacic missed one that day as well. They were both saved. And Silva comes forward and he will take the first one here for Manchester City to tie it up at 1-1 after a penalty apiece. Onana just coming off his line. He's told to get back, and now he barricades further, just going back into his goal mouth. The referee has a word again. Silva sees it saved. Missed his last one for Manchester City and misses this one as well. The man that got the penalty shootout for City squanders the first spot kick.
Never looked comfortable, never looked like he was confident, like he was going to score. Even the walk was slow, it was quite laboured. He puts the ball down, and again, it's almost like a comfortable penalty spot. He doesn't really hit as hard as he can, no real direction. And if anything, he almost telegraphs it for Onana. It's a really good save, by the way. A really poor penalty from Bernardo Silva.
In the last 6 shootouts that United have taken, Dallow's taken penalties in 4 of those 6 and has scored all 4. He's next up. Dallow against Ederson. It's a very straight run-up. Now darts out towards the left-hand side. Stuttering run-up, right-footed, and just squeezes it in. Because the keeper went the right way and got a strong hand to it, but can only knock it into the ground, and it bounced up into the roof of the net. And it's 2-0 United.
Really good penalty. If he puts any less power on that, he doesn't score. But the fact he went with that real conviction and really hit it as hard as he can, that's why the ball finds the bottom corner.
So Kevin De Bruyne is the next to stride forward. De Bruyne, who missed his last penalty in the shootout. That was in the Community Shield last year when City were beaten by Arsenal. He went first on that occasion and missed. Long-haired Belgian just wipes some sweat from his brow, runs up right-footed and sends Onana the wrong way. Just committed the goalkeeper, who dived to He's right, Mickey Gray, and De Bruyne had just rolled it past him into the empty side of the goal.
It was like he was just waiting for the movement of Onana, Jim. It was fantastic. He had a little look to his left-hand side, Kevin De Bruyne, just before he slotted it into the corner, but from the movement from Onana and that side foot with a lot of pace on it, absolutely clinical.
This is the first penalty that Garnacho's ever taken in the shootout for United. He makes his way forward. It's 2-1 after 2 penalties apiece. Manchester United with the advantage after Silva's first spot kick in this shootout was saved. Garnacho up against Ederson. Again, a stuttering run-up. 3 steps towards it and fires it briskly past Ederson, sending him the wrong way.
Real confidence from Garnacho there, real confidence. It's almost like he little stunner run up and he waited just half a second for him to go showing a little bit the signs that he was going to go one way, and he just whips it back into the goalkeeper's right corner. Really nice penalty from Garnacho.
Erling Haaland scored 9 of his 10 penalties last season, missed at Sheffield United, and he is the next one forward. If he doesn't score here, United will have 2 chances to win it. This to get City back within 1. The third Manchester City penalty. They're 3-1 down at the moment, but have this penalty in hand. Haaland spots the ball down. Onana is told again just to behave himself and get back on his line. Onana has got his hands out and is showing Haaland 2/3 of the goal, showing him where he wants it to put it. Will Haaland oblige? No, he goes the other way. And Onana dives to his left, and Haaland waited for him and rolled it into the bottom left-hand corner. And it's 3-2 after 3 penalties each.
I mean, Onana showing him where to put it, and he's standing exactly where Haaland puts the ball into the goal. So clearly that didn't work, but really composed finish there from Erling Haaland. Again, outwitted the goalkeeper, calm, composed, hard side put into that corner. Really good finish.
Jadon Sancho comes forward, spots the ball down. He has now hit the back of the net at Wembley. Erling Haaland. Jadon Sancho to take this penalty to restore United's 2-goal advantage. Comes up right-footed. Oh, it's saved. Tipped onto the inside of the post by Ederson. Bounced out on the line, but goes to safety. Jadon Sancho's effort saved, and if City score the next penalty, we're back to parity.
Do you know what? That's not a bad penalty. That is just an unbelievable save from Ederson. I mean, he throws himself at it to his left, and he gets his fingertips, and it hits the post, and I still think it's going in. And I think it's the spin on the ball that takes it across the goal. But honestly, I don't think that's a bad penalty. But oh, what a save! He goes with the wrong hand. He goes with his right hand. What a save that is!
Just tipped onto the inside of the post. So Onana has made 1 save. It's 3-2 to Manchester United. This is a chance to make it 3-3. Savinho, brilliantly done. Rolls it into the bottom left-hand corner. And we're now effectively in sudden death, because after 4 penalties apiece, it's 3 each.
Fair play Savinho, obviously first taste of English football, Wembley, big occasion, to compose, just rolls it in, he waited for Onana to go to his right, and just whipped it into that bottom corner to the keeper's right, keeper's left, sorry. Really composed, really nice finish.
Marcus Rashford scored both of his penalties for United last season. Casemiro, actually, I beg your pardon, who's striding forward here. So Casemiro to restore Manchester United's advantage. He runs up, hits it right-footed, and again sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Just firing it into the bottom right-hand corner. And that means that City have to score their next one to stay.
Fair play Casemiro, because clearly he would have taken penalties against Ederson, Brazilian teammates as well, so probably they would have done that in training, but really composed again. And Casemiro, someone who's at the highest level, knew exactly what he needed to do, waited for Ederson to drop one way and just roll it in the other corner.
Penalty number 5, and of course it's Ederson himself to take it. The hero for City to keep them in this shootout, has to keep them in the shootout again, and he does it, no problem. One of the best penalties of the 10 we've seen. Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, sits him down, and just nonchalantly rolls it in. 4-4.
That was so casual. I was a little bit concerned, but clearly, as you said there, Jim, that's probably one of the best penalties out of all the ones we've seen so far. Waiting for Onana to drop down and just casually rolls it. Doesn't even go in the corner. He just waits to sit him down and then just kind of rolls it into the other corner. Great penalty.
So now we're in the area of people that probably didn't want to take one in the first place. McTominay for United, that is brilliant as well, because he really got power to match the precision. And although Edison went the right way, he didn't smell it, because he was just past him in the blink of an eye. And Scott McTominay's penalty keeps Manchester United in front of every City player that strides forward has the weight of the world on his shoulders.
That Scott McTominay penalty told me that he knew exactly what he was going to do before he even put the ball down on the spot. He'd made his mind up, he puts the ball down and he just hammers it to the keeper's right. Really good penalty.
So Mateus Nunes is going to go next for Manchester City. And he hasn't come forward exuding confidence. Edison's just had a little word with him. Nunes spotting the ball down, right-footed, brilliant. Lashes it into the roof of the net. And still, there's no splitting them. 5-5 after 6 penalties each.
Jim, I was worried like you there, because when he was walking down with the ball, he didn't show any confidence whatsoever. And I thought, oh, is this the time they're going to miss? And not only does that, he fires it into the top corner. Really, really good penalty. So clearly that's just how he takes his pens.
So Lisandro Martinez is the next man forward for Manchester United. Still Rashford hasn't come forward to take one. Martinez going 7th for United. There's a penalty shootout involving United that went all the way through the card. Remember, in the European final. And Martinez, brilliant. They're getting better, these penalties, because he has run forward and hit that left-footed, and as Edison's dive, he's got it into the inside side netting. And still, United in the box seat. Still the pressure on every City penalty taken.
Fair Martinez again just waits for the goalkeeper to just show a sign that he's going to go one way, and he almost waits and then just rolls it into that far corner. Lovely penalty, and as you said there, right into the side netting.
Ruben Dias to go next for Manchester City. Full-paced run-up for Dias. And he hits it right-footed, and again, waiting for Onana to commit himself, casually rolls it, almost barely had the legs to get over the line. It was that nonchalant, the penalty, and it remains dead level.
He's going to have to take one of these goalkeepers to be brave and really stand there, because at the minute, the last couple of penalties, they've both gone so early that they've almost made it quite easy for the attacker that goes, all right, you're going that way, I'll just roll it into the other corner like Ruben Dias did there. One of these goalkeepers have to be brave and just maybe hold it for a second longer, and then they've got more opportunity of making a save.
Next up for Manchester United is Johnny Evans. And he will take penalty number 8. Edison, arms outstretched. Evans over the bar, misses. And now it is advantage Manchester City. They score the next one, they've won. Johnny Evans leaning back, clipping it over the crossbar, only by 6-8 inches or so, but it might make all the difference, and City have the chance to win the 2024 Community Shield. This goes in, it is theirs.
Johnny Evans showed no confidence there. I mean, the way he put the ball down, the ambled run up, and no conviction. That's the biggest thing. If you're going to miss with conviction, and he does it. He almost scoops it over the bar. Really poor penalty for someone who's as experienced as him.
Manchester City have lost each of the last 3 Community Shields, but Manuel Akanji has the chance to get them over the line this time, and he has taken it. It's Manchester City who are victorious, who strike first on Derby Day in the Wembley sunshine. A modicum of revenge for their FA Cup final defeat. It was a game in which they trailed with 90 seconds to go, but Bernardo Silva's flying header and Akanji's dead-eye nerve from the spot gets them over the line. Manchester City, the winners of the 2024 Community Shield.
Well, they finally got the job done, Manchester City. They were behind. They looked like they were going to lose the thing in normal time. Late equaliser, and then they take advantage in the penalty shootout, but they did it the hard way. Bernardo Silva's first penalty for City was saved by Andre Onana, but then they got a little bit of luck. Sancho, so unlucky. Same end as the Euros, by the way. So unlucky with his penalty. It looked to be heading into not exactly the postage stamp, but certainly out of the keeper's reach, and out of nowhere, Ederson finds a hand to get on the ball, pushes it onto the woodwork, and out it comes at a narrow angle. Could so easily have squeezed in. Sancho so unlucky. That brought City back level. And then Johnny Evans, well, his penalties head into the heavens. Incredible stuff from him. I don't think he's taken many in his career, and all that means that Manchester City will finally lift the Community Shield. They've lost the last 3. They were starting to get a reputation of not being bothered about the thing, but actually, when Akanji's penalty hit the back of the net, the players sprinting forward to celebrate in blue shirts told you all you need to know. Yes, Darren Bent is effectively a pre-season game. It's effectively a friendly, but those players really wanted to win it.
Yeah, of course you do. When you get to Wembley and an occasion like this, and as you said there, it's the Community Shield, and you're up against your local rivals, you want to win it. It went all the way. I don't think the quality was as good as we know it can be, but I think it was good enough. And certainly when you go down to the penalty shootouts now, as you said there, Ray, there were a couple of people that kept their nerve. Akanji, we know last time he took a penalty in the Euros, he missed it. Could he kind of put that to one side and score it? And he does, and Manchester City win. But again, going into the new season, I think it would have done a lot more for Manchester United had they won than it would do for City.
Yeah, you can't really read too much into it. Even the fact that United have got themselves a draw in 90 minutes against the champions, then lost a shootout. There's not a lot you can read into it going into the new season. What I do suspect is there's a little bit more about Manchester United. There's a little bit of character. I personally don't expect them to finish 8th, but I might have said that without this game anyway. But in Garnacho, they do have somebody who can win a game in a flash, and we've seen that today. It possibly should have been the winning goal, but for some dubious defending maybe at the other end, some high quality from City as well. But Garnacho won't be a sub very often this season.
Do you know what, Aid? He plays with that kind of good arrogance where every single time he steps on the pitch, he said to the manager and every single Manchester United fan, I deserve to be starting every single game. And he comes on, the first thing he does, he drives at the fullback, he cuts inside, he has a shot, it gets blocked, and it comes to him again, and he just works it into the box, and once he got in there, he goes ice cold, and he just rolls it into the corner. It's a really good finish. But as you said, he is someone now that's become one of Erik ten Hag's main men. Yes, there's names on paper that probably maybe got more of a reputation than he has, but he right now is doing it every single time he steps on the pitch. And I think moving forward, Manchester United, whatever happens to them this season, if it's positive, he will have something to do with it.
How's Jadon Sancho feeling right now? Because it was a decent pen.
Do you know what it was? But it was just it just felt again he was here not that long ago with Borussia Dortmund. They got beat in the Champions League final. You spoke about the penalty that he missed at that very end. It's just one of those where I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, right, some things are meant to be and they're not meant to be. And as they put it down, I'm thinking, for his own kind of benefit and to kind of push forward and restart his Manchester United career, like, please let it go in, just for him personally. When he misses, you're almost like there was fans in the stadium just outside where we are, and it's almost like they turned around and went, I knew it. And it's just one of those things where, for whatever reason, since he's had that Manchester United shirt on, it just hasn't clicked for him.
No, it hasn't. He now has another chance, and it's clean slate, and maybe too much shouldn't be read into a decent penalty that was very well saved by Ederson. He's got to make it work for him at Manchester United. He's got to make himself undroppable once he breaks into the first team.
Well, there's no more excuses. As we spoke about, you see Garnacho, when he's on the pitch, I'm going to play every single week. I'm going to make sure, Erik ten Hag, you can't leave me out. Jadon Sancho needs to have that same kind of approach. I know, yes, he's more established. He got bought for a lot of money, but we're yet to see it yet. He's yet to justify why Manchester United invested so much money into him. He's going to get opportunities. He's buried the hatchet, it looks like, with Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag has said to him, I'm going to give you another chance. He cannot blame anyone else now. If it doesn't work for Manchester United Football Club, it's because of him.
Yeah, that's. I don't think many can argue with that. Talk to me about Ederson. He's so cool. I joked with you at the start of the afternoon before the game that maybe Pep will play him in midfield. I mean, he's so cool with his penalty that he takes. And listen, that was the fifth penalty. You know, this is a crucial penalty he's taken. He's putting his hand up for that. He's an outfield player in goal.
Honestly, his technique, and even in the game where they're rolling the ball back to him and he's getting pressed by the attacker, it's like he's not bothered. Just clips it out, takes a few touches. And when he put the ball down, I had no doubts whatsoever that he was going to score. You look at other players, like when Johnny Evans put the ball down, the way he put the ball down, his run-up, I thought, oh no, I don't fancy him. Ederson, who's a goalkeeper by trade, the complete opposite. I thought, oh, this is a goal. He waits for Ronaldo to go down and he just rolls it in the other corner.
It's so cool. from Edison. You've just got to admire the Brazilian. Others as well. I mean, all three of us thought Núñez was going to miss. He's leathered it into the top corner. Again, one of the best penalties you'll ever see.
But I don't mind that, because if you're a bit nervous, and McTominay was one of those, and Núñez to me was the same, his approach to the penalty, I thought, you know what, I don't fancy him. He's ambling to the ball, he's put the ball down, he muck around with the ball a couple of times, but it told me the moment he stepped back and then he ran and he hit it, regardless where the goalkeeper was standing, he was going to go that exact same spot. He was going to go to the goalkeeper's right, hard as he can. He did it, McTominay did it, and in the end it's a really good penalty.
Yeah, and it's kind of almost unsavable, really, unless the goalkeeper produces some spring out of nowhere. That's unsavable. Talk to me about Johnny Evans. Listen, he's been around the block several times, not a goal scorer, not a penalty taker, but what happens in training? Do all players have a go at penalties, even if they're having a bit of a laugh? He will have taken some penalties in his life, won't he?
Yeah, and that's the thing in training, and that's why when people step up, what you do in training and what you do out there is completely different. I see some of the best defenders take great penalties. They come to penalty shootouts and they can't hit the target because it's a different level of pressure. When you're in the training ground, you're always having a laugh when you're stroking it in against a second string goalkeeper. There's no pressure on it. It doesn't make a difference. When you come to Wembley in a final, 75,000 people screaming at you to score, it's completely different. So listen, he understands that. He'll be disappointed now, but he'll put that to benefit. Right, there are bigger things I've got to do this season. We've got to try and get Manchester United back to where he believes. He was there when it was the good old days under Ferguson, so he knows exactly what it takes to play for Manchester United Football Club when they were at the peak of their powers. He's got to somehow use his experience to kind of get that to filter through to some of these younger players to tell you guys, listen, what happened last season is not good enough. We need to be better than that, and it starts now. And yeah, he missed, but I thought they played well today, Manchester United.
Yeah, and there's the news today that Matthias de Ligt may well be arriving, Nusayr Mazraoui arriving as well, both from Bayern Munich. All that's to be confirmed, but Manchester United reinforcements in defence and needed as well. But also today, Maguire was back. We know Wan-Bissaka is going to be going. Martinez was back. He's only just come back from international duty. I think that there's a stronger look defensively, as long as they can not have the injuries they had last season. There's a stronger look defensively for United.
Yeah, they've got options, as you said there. If those two guys, Mazraoui and de Ligt, get through the door, at least they've got options, because last season, yes, they were absolutely riddled with injuries. Luke Shaw spent a lot of time out, Martinez, Lindelof, Maguire. We saw Casemiro have to go back there and play. They brought in Johnny Evans, so at least now you'd expect it not to happen. You can never say never, but at least now if two of them go down, they've got another three that could potentially step up, so they shouldn't have as many problems this season as they did last season. But also as well, there's quality there. There's not a drop-off really. When you look at all the centre-halves, yes, maybe you'd say Martinez and maybe de Ligt are probably the ones that you'd say probably stand out. But other than that, I don't think the drop is too bad if they get the injuries.
Well, the United players are just passing by our commentary box right now, led by Bruno Fernandes. Scott McTominay jogs up the steps, followed by Marcus Rashford, who of course had that great chance, one-on-one, hits the outside of the post. What a moment that would have been for him, and he needed it as well. Jadon Sancho just passes by our commentary box, as well as the rest of the United players. Lisandro Martinez is there, Kobbie Mainoo drops by as well. Christian Eriksen is towards the back of the queue. Erik ten Hag making his way up as well. They were making their way up the same steps as winners in the FA Cup 11 weeks ago, but today it's as losers on penalties against Manchester City. And as far as City are concerned, I think there's things we definitely can read into it. They've got a couple of youngsters who now, it would not be a surprise, I'm talking about Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob, if they started in the first 11 in Premier League regularly, I don't think it would be a huge surprise now.
No, listen, it might take him a little bit of time. Maybe not so much Rico Lewis, because he's played a lot more football than Oscar Bob has. But certainly maybe the first couple of weeks it might take him a bit of time. As Manchester City do, to be fair, in Premier League season, they tend to start a bit slow. What we did see in flashes, certainly with Oscar Bob, that they've got somebody ready to go. I mean, Alvarez has gone, it looks like, to Atletico Madrid. He looks like he's ready to play now, week in, week out. And Pep will look after him and nurture him and give him the right minutes that he believes when he's ready for it. Again, if you're looking at that, you can't help but, if you're a Manchester City fan, be happy, be excited about what's coming, because there are a number of youngsters in that team I thought we played really well today, without them being at their sparkling best.
Well, it's an interesting point about Oscar Bob. Are you saying then, Alvarez, 19 goals last season, look at his goal involvements, the numbers are right up there. You can't let a player like that go and not miss those numbers from somebody who is clearly a born winner. Just look at his career. Are we saying then that Oscar Bob could actually be the Alvarez replacement?
But you know what, if Pep believes that that's the case, he wouldn't have let him go. And we've seen, certainly over his time in charge of Manchester City, Pep, we all question, how can you let him go? Mahrez, Gundogan, Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling. We're going, well, Pep, are you sure? And all of a sudden he does it, and what do they do the following next season? They'll either win the treble or they'll go and win another Premier League title. So he knows when's the right time to release a player. I don't agree with the Alvarez one, because as you said, he's a born winner, World Cup winner. He's won everything there is to win. But if he believes that it was the right time to move him on, and this is Oscar Bob's time, then clearly he knows something that we don't.
It's like Pep saying, I'll sell another one.
Yeah.
I'll torment them. I'll sell another one and see if I can do it again. When I heard Alvarez was going, I thought, he ain't selling him to Arsenal, is he? That would be the ultimate torment.
I was praying that he was sending him to Arsenal.
He's not going to send another one to Arsenal and then say, come and have a go then. I don't know how long they can keep it going. It's a phenomenal run of 4 titles in a row. But then you see them out on the pitch, and the players have so much. O'Reilly coming in today, I thought, was tremendous. I mean, it's almost like he's out of nowhere to the outside world. But clearly he's been training so hard constantly with Pep, knows what to do when he's out on the pitch.
And that, again, comes down to fantastic coaching by Pep, because whatever youngster he plays, you talk about O'Reilly there, you talk about Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob, whichever youngster seems to come in, they do the exact same job as the previous player, and you think, well, how's that possible? And that comes from coaching, doing the right things, doing the basics, and buying into what Pep wants you to do. Because if you're a young player, how can you not want to play under Pep? Look what he does for players. Look how he improves players. You've only got to look at the likes of someone like a Phil Foden. You go, wow, he had Phil Foden from the very start, and now look at him. He's one of the best players in the world.
I've just been told it's a nice touch that the United players are making a tunnel for the City players as they head towards the steps to pick up the Community Shield and their medals. I can't imagine Roy Keane thinking something like that is a nice touch. Could you imagine him being part of a tunnel, applauding the City players?
When I'm looking at Roy down there, and I'm surprised he's not kicked the desk over, the ITV desk over, because he's there watching. He's got his arms in his pocket, and he's not even looking. He's not even looking at them walking up the stairs. He's probably thinking, I would never have allowed this in my day. No chance.
Well, I'm even going back to your Franny Lee and George Best days. There's no way they'd be applauding each other in a tunnel, saying, "Oh, well done, lads." Whatever happened to rivalry? I mean, I'm not. It's a Community Shield. I get it. And I'm not saying they should be kicking lumps out of each other or aiming punches at each other, but blimey, I thought that was a little bit too much for my liking. I want to bring some proper rivalry back into football. The City players just going past our commentary box on their way to pick up the Community Shield. Erling Haaland's massive.
Usually.
He's gigantic. When you're right next to him, he's absolutely enormous.
Do you know what I was looking at there? I was looking at there thinking, there's Scott Carson going to pick up another trophy. Absolutely stockpiling trophies.
How is he not in the England squad, honestly, with those medals? How is he not in there? At least as third choice, maybe. Listen, the City players are on their way to pick up the Community Shield. They have won 7-6 on penalties after a 1-1 draw. And to lift that trophy with them, here's your commentator on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian. Well, the last of those City players making their way up the steps now. There will be bigger moments ahead, wins that are regarded as more significant, but Derby Day is Derby Day. And irrespective of what's at stake, parochial pride makes it matter. And after United denied City the double-double, it is Pep's men that begin the new campaign by lifting this first piece of silverware. Day when the Reds led with the line in sight, but when the Blues salvaged matters with a touch of silver before shootout success got the job done. Manchester City debut today for Savinho and his first major honour in English football. It is Pep's 34th major trophy in his career and his 16th with Manchester City. It's an extraordinary run. The last man to make his way up is Kevin De Bruyne with the captain's armband, and he will shake the hands of the dignitaries and will look at the shield. This is a familiar sight, but that does little to dilute their delight. Last season ended with a derby defeat. The new season starts with victory over the same opposition. 24-25 begins with Manchester City getting their hands on a trophy. No sign that the Blue Moon is on the wane just yet.
You getting sick of this, Darren?
Yeah, it's a bit boring, isn't it? Them winning absolutely everything.
Absolutely, even the Community Shield. Now, they've let others win it for the last 3 years, and now they've only gone and won it, haven't they? They tease Man United. They let them take the lead. They let them have chances. And then they go and equalise and win the penalty shootout. Manchester City have picked up silverware once again, and the Premier League season hasn't even started. What has started is the party at the blue end, in the blue half of Wembley Stadium, because Manchester City have lifted the Community Shield, and you heard it live on Talksport.